starting a little late, but I'm here. I am here. Hello. I'll just scoot over. I ain't got no frog to share my screen with. I might as be right up front and center. Real big. Where's Hello. Let's settle in for some spoopy times. Well, hello everybody. Hi Rose. Hi Pudgy. Noise. Pudgy, your self-love was a different number before. That is definitely better. And a very fun number. What's your Riz? Your Riz wasn't working. Why is your Riz not working? Only 15%? That's a lie. A nice roll to Divad. Nice roll, DJ. Nice. Hi Rose. Hi the Honk. Hi DJ. Hi Pudgy. Hi Oni. Hi Gary. Hi Josh. Did I say hi to everybody? But hello everybody if I didn't read your name. Hi. Don't look at my roll. I don't think I noticed it actually, so there you go, I didn't look. That 15 might be right if you look at redeems. I saw the redeems, Divad. But we're not gonna do that just yet. You know how it goes. We read a story and then we have a redeems break. Oh, there's Lahonk. Terrible roll. Lovely Riz. Where's your love at? Who are you gonna try and love? Yourself? Me? Oh, me! Aw, still not a great number. Maybe it's because I'm pouty still about the whole rage puffing attempts and things. Maybe? No. It's a lie. It's more than that. You're good. Pudgy, 5 cringe. Oof. Diva, I guess you have no Riz. I guess so. It's just not going. And Josh, only 6? That is some bullshit. That's bullshit. Pudgy! 98% Riz. Look at you. That first one took all your percentage? I guess so. 44? Darn. Oh, dang it. Who do I love today? Who are we gonna see? You gotta decide. But hi. I realized I should mute for a second. I'm gonna just, or at least I'll there, the mic went way down. There we go. I has a little bit more caffeine for myself. We was getting eepy. We fixing it. Maybe, hopefully. Okay. Why is that not loaded? Reload. Frickin' heck. Okay. But yes, we are reading more SCP. So last time we had just started the part 2 for the... Okay, can this thing go away? I don't need to see that anymore. Little ding notification. I don't... Stop clouding my screen. There's already too much to go. Raven, you pick who I love today. The frogs. Let's see how much you love the frogs. I think it works if you say love and then whatever is next to it. I don't know. We'll both see how much we love frogs. Let's see if that works. 63 and 64. Look at us. We're twinning. I love the frogs. 63. You love frogs. 64. Wow, there's just not enough love for the frogs right now. 60 is alright, but then 20? Where's the big numbers? Where's the big numbers for the frogs? I don't know. Okay, anyway. Where was we? We was at... Yes. So, we're reading the recommendations DewOnTheGrass gave us. They gave a bunch of stories. It's the... Did you see my Tiny Frog? I think so. That was one that you posted in the Discord after a stream? Because if so, then yes. Yes, I did. If it's one from, like, recently, just today or something, then no. No, I did not. Love the weight of my own crushing indecision in life. Leading to a life of mundane commonality. Dang. Didn't work because you already used it on yourself earlier. That's why. Okay. I focus. Dew had recommended the saga first ages ago of Marion Wheeler? Yes, brain. Yes, Marion Wheeler. And then now we're getting into the next section of it. It's the Adam Wheeler section. We read part 1 through that, and we started the first story in the part 2 of this Antimemetics Division giant saga. So here we are. We had just ended, so Adam had woken up after being yoinked by those awful things, the SCP-3125, and he's gotten hurt. However he got hurt, he woke up and he's got fingers missing. They're just little stumps, and so his violin life ripped away and he feels hollow. And then there's a phone he's talking to, and it says to go to a room in this old school building that he's woken up in. He had managed to get the slugs out of his eyes to like kind of step himself away from the SCP. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the point is that he's kind of shaken it off, and now he's talked to this chalkboard drawing of a woman, and that was interesting. And she was saying, I'm a memory, and the memory is dying. And then eventually the image stopped, and it was just chalk on a chalkboard, even when he went to touch it, and it was just chalk dust. And then he passes out, and he wakes back up, and this time when he sees everything, he's a little less pessimistic. He's like, oh, I could play violin with the other hand. You know, that's going to be tough, but I could do it. And then he's figuring out what to do next. He goes back to this phone, and it's giving him instructions this time to go find stuff. There's a little piece of me that wonders if that robotic woman voice isn't actually a robot. It is Our Lady, who people did describe as sounding robotic. So maybe that's his love there. But this is his wife, Marion Wheeler, or Hutchinson, that he has forgotten and stuff. Maybe she was the chalkboard and is dead. Maybe she's a robot. Maybe she's something else. The robot voice on the phone. But here we are. He's woken back up again. He's trying to figure things out. And he's talking on the phone. And it says, the world's gone to hell, Mr. Wheeler. He says, well, bad luck there. She's like, well, yes, very, very bad luck. And, well, I need your help. I have no one but you. And I am dying. And he's like, whoa, sorry to hear that. Oh, yikes. What do you need? And she says, I need you to find a man named Bartholomew Hughes. Please take a seat. I will explain everything. And we had learned in one of the previous stories, Bartholomew Hughes had built the big machine and weapon and space to protect from an SCP that erases memory and stuff while trying to kill people. You know, he's the one that's going to have this set up, and they were all kind of relying in these other stories in the previous parts of this whole saga that he had the thing, we got to go to his machine, but then it wasn't there. Okay, well, now what are we going to do? Some of the entries for this have been a little bit out of order. Let's hope I catch up into the right order, but we're going to see. More than hearing Raven reading stories, I want to hear Raven paraphrasing stories. So then this dude, he's like, what the fuck? No. Spark Notes Raven Edition. Hey, I'm trying. I'm sure Dew or Nuriakio would come in and be like, well, actually, this is a much more important part of the story. And I'm like, well, yeah, because you know the next part of the story. I don't. But anyway. Thank you, Fudgy. Okay. This is where we're at. I'm only doing this summary because in this particular thing, it does this a lot, where you go to the next story, the link, the whatever you're set up, and it just says previously, and so it feels like I gotta say previously on the Marion Wheeler Antimemetics Division saga, and then I made them kiss. Silly Pudgy. I want to make them kiss. I want to make them get back together, but I can't. I want them to remember each other, but we aren't there yet. Oh, yes, and our robot lady she said to call her Ulrich. our robot phone lady. Marion's, what's the name? I forget the word a lot. Maiden name, there, was Hutchinson. But this robot lady is saying, call me Ulrich. But it did hesitate when it was like, call me. So, oh yes, what a lovely woman's name. Hey, could be last name. Probably, code for something else, because that's how Foundation peoples work. It's fine. Okay, but alright. So there we go. That was that, and we'll figure it out. I guess this is where Adam's gotta go. Oh, we're not even starting with Adam. Never mind. And another part of it that's confusing is that when they use the maiden name and when they don't. Is it how they met story? Is it after they've forgotten each other part of the story? Please clarify your frickin' order of events. But it refuses to, because it's being spooky and confusing and wants you to wonder what's going on, because that's storytelling for you. But okay. We got I forgot to put the thing up on the screen because I was just summarizing and blah blah blah. But it is. Yes. That's not how you spell that, Raven. Ah! Okay, it's called Unthreaded. Unthreaded. Here we go. Boop boop boop. Marion Wheeler, so somewhere in the middle of when they know each other, I guess, maybe? Anyway. Used strong Nestic medication nearly every day of her life. Among the identity warriors of Mobile Task Force, it's a W, but I'm guessing this is where I need to know the specific title thingy. Anyway, W.O. Ara Oren, which was the name of the last iteration of the story, the one that I just summarized. Oh, don't worry, DJ, please. Tuck yourself in. Do you want someone else to tuck you in? It's your job to tuck people in, so I feel like I gotta ask first. But tuck yourself in. You had a very long day, please. This is one of those places where you can fall asleep. I'm never gonna feel offended if you aren't here anymore. Please take care of yourself. So it says the Identity Warriors of Mobile Task Force W-O Ara Oren. Probably not pronouncing that right. It was never in doubt that, on the occasion of her death, she would ascend into the new sphere. Somebody take my job away. Are you giving them Ooh, who wants to take DJ's job? I don't have Cage here who would likely take it over. Pudgy, do you want to be Tucker? Anyway, we'll get whoever tucks people in. I'll assign it as we go along. Okay. You're on it? Okay. Baton tossed. Perfect. Okay. Who's getting tucked? Well, DJ first, because DJ's got to tuck it. You're too EP. Oh, yay! You're tucked in. Look at that. I love my little community, the way you guys are on each other. Oh, good evening. I'm new here. Definitely not ready to be given my responsibility. Yamadatos. Thank you. I wouldn't have given it to you, but thank you for joining in. And Pudgy Mwah, kiss on the head. They're so cute. Oh, you guys. Okay. How about where was I? Okay. So, this is just a summary about her, I guess. Oh no. You know how I had a hope for a happy ending? It appears to be dashed. Ugh. Lurk, Sleepy Eebie. Well, now you're not the one lurking. Sleepy Eebie is lurking. Oh no. But yeah. Oh no. This doesn't look good, folks. Okay. It was never in doubt that on the occasion of her death, she would ascend into the new sphere. I'm probably saying new sphere wrong, but anyway. She would become a Beta Rajman infomorphic entity or a type 6, a VI Roman numeral, type 6 volitional spiritual apparition, or quote-unquote ghosty, not ghost, ghost-y, I-E, or however she wished to describe her new self. Then she would join the citizens of heaven and continue the Antimemetics Division fight from higher ground, likely with fearsome effectiveness. But Wheeler died under terrible circumstances, so she's dead. So that image of her on the chalkboard, she really is dead. Okay. The Class Z drug which killed her did more than reinforce her memory. It destroyed her ability to do anything but remember. So she knew there was going to be memory issues, and she chose Class C drug. We have been introduced to the Class C drug actually when we first kind of got introduced, I guess, to this SCP, I think, when we were on a boat with a dude that had intentionally fought a bunch of stuff and erased memory, and they were like, okay, we're going to give you the hardest drug, but it will kill you, so we're trying to get all your memory. And then a spider thing came out of it, and then there was in one of these iterations, there was a spider wall with a bad guy on top, and it was clear that the spiders be involved. Anyway, Class C drug, return of that from the boat moment. Okay. The Class C drug which killed her did more than reinforce her memory. It destroyed her ability to do anything but remember. She ascended, arriving in the new sphere to a hero's welcome. But what arrived was an idioform, so severely brain damaged that it was barely able to communicate. Oof. After she was made as comfortable as possible, and an initial diagnosis had been made, Sanchez offhandedly described her as a Swiss watch filled with glue. Ulrich yelled at him for saying it, so Ulrich is indeed a separate being, and would have hit him for his callousness. How can she make it to heaven sick, she said. Isn't that just hell? The director apologized in the corporate false way in which he always apologized for anything. So Sanchez is the director, I guess? I don't know what's going on. How much more does she have to go through, Ulrich said. Who deserves this life? Well, it's not life, but anyway, okay. It hurt all of them. Regardless of personal investment in the mission, it was difficult not to care for someone whom they had watched and guarded for years. Yeah, because she survived for quite a while on her own, with less and less of the people around. I'm guessing that these are some of the people that she used to know, but no longer do, until she died and is remembering. They continued to take care of her in the same way they always had, in shifts. Wheeler, dimly aware of her condition, worked against the problem in the instinctive, fierce way she worked against every problem. She slowly became more coherent, but never became herself again. Ulrich, on her shifts, saw that Wheeler spent most of her existence reliving her final moments over and over. She would recite what seemed to be half a conversation with SCP-3125 itself, a conversation which several of W-O said they recognized from Operation Cold City. Is this one that we have read or will read? What is Operation Cold City? It looks like I have not read that. How did you not tell me that this operation, the day that she died, is not part of this? Shouldn't that be involved, included? What the hell? Well, this feels like very important. How did we not cover that? But oh well. I go boop. I go back. Okay. Ideas can be killed. I think that she is saying. Marion, Ulrich asked her gently, where is Bart Hughes? He's the only one who can stop this now. We know he's alive, or he'd be here with us. Just a hint, just a clue, please. She was trying. Ulrich knew that she was trying to say, I don't know. I can't remember something I never knew in the first place. But all she could manage was, with better ideas. Because she's reliving that conversation. Something in me says the reason she showed up sick is that she's not fully dead. Mostly dead, slightly alive. I hope. I'm delusional, I know, but come on. Okay. Keep pushing her, Sanchez told Ulrich when she reported back to him. At least once per shift. The questioning is causing her considerable distress, Ulrich said. We know she doesn't know anything. It's cruel to keep trying, sir. SCP-3125 is coming, Sanchez replied. With the quick arm of the Antimemetics Division eliminated, there's nothing left which can stop it. Our real-world investigative capabilities are negligible. Hughes's sister doesn't know anything. Well, who's that? Why do we care? What? And this is our sole remaining lead. I know you admire Wheeler more than anyone. It's paused. What is paused? Is everything paused again? Everything is still paused. I didn't undo it. Okay. I'll unpause in a minute. I want to focus. Wait, so heaven? It won't let me redeem. Oh, no, I see everything. Oh, hi, Fett. Welcome in. That isn't. No, that was the one that wasn't. As per the request of the last minute on the things. Okay, thank you, Fett. Hi. I just see this. You won't let me redeem Kalimba? Well, you will. Wait, so heaven is real and the SCP Foundation has infiltrated it? I think the idea is that when they died, they went to the new sphere and they kind of referred to this as heaven is kind of whatever. Hi, turd. Okay, focus. Hugh's sister doesn't know anything, and this is our sole remaining lead. I know you admire Wheeler more than anyone, and then interruption. She mentored me. She drove me to be the best person I had ever been. She honored my memory when I died. My own family wouldn't. Ooh. Well, that's bad. But Ulrich, I guess, really cares about that, then. Ulrich, and then interrupted again. We are the saints who guard. I will guard her. For a lady that sounded like a robot before, you sound like you've got a lot of passion now. Okay. Sanchez paused. Ulrich's devotion to Wheeler, and the lesser devotion of the others, irked him mildly. He viewed Wheeler as ... well, competent enough, but ultimately a failure. She was as much of a failure as everybody else in the division, with only the uninteresting distinction of being the last of the failures. I would say that could be still very impressive. I mean, she lasted for a while without any of you, so kind of cool. I don't know. But he was vulnerable to the kind of rhetoric Ulrich had just employed. It stoked a kind of fire inside him. Heaven knew he used it in his own communications often enough for exactly the same purpose. All right, he said. The trawl in reality is continuing. There's a faint chance we'll find something of substance. Carry on as you were, no questions. That's better now. Okay, good. So I'm guessing that he's like, okay, I guess we could try and get someone's attention, and that's why they start reaching out to Adam, probably. Then there's a break of the story, a star, and it picks back up. SCP-3125 incarnated the following winter. Its first act upon its arrival, or depending on the degree of intelligent agency you ascribe to it, the first side effect of its arrival was the neutralization of the Foundation. In the space of a night, an international staff of tens of thousands disappeared into oblivion, or became amnesiac, or simply dropped brain dead where they were standing. Foundation sites became hollow, inaccessible dead zones. A few anomalies broke containment in the chaos to devastating effect. Thousands of others were choked into irrelevant obscurity beneath SCP-3125's antimemetic pressure. The The world can only end one way, it seemed to be declaring, gouging its statement into the flesh of reality. My world, my way. SCP-3125 had skirmished with W-O before, but it had always been unclear how much information about W-O. I feel like the Ara-Oran pronunciation might be how I should be saying. I don't know. Every time I see that particular W, it just looks like a W in a different font, like a little bit more of an ooh face. And because it's the little W-O, it looks just like it's half of that little face. And so I can't take you very seriously. I'm sorry. Okay. Unclear how much information about them it retained between skirmishes. In fact, it was unclear, fundamentally speaking, how SCP-3125 thought at all. Its behavior was inconsistent, unpredictable, and frightening. Records of its activities were cognitohazardous, discouraging close analysis. In the end, the question proved to be academic. When SCP-3125 arrived, whether it knew W-O was there or not, it took no special action against it, and had no need to. Most of W-O's members, anchors, were Foundationers or Foundation adjacent. With those people's minds blown away in the first strike, the dense web of mutual memory, which had held the task force together since its formation, tore loose. When they say anchors, I don't totally know what they mean, but I think they're referencing how Adam was an anchor for Marion. I don't know. Anyway, hi Nuriakia. Hey, here's a question for you. We're reading the Unthreaded, the second story in the Adam Wheeler Saga Act 2, Part 2. And there's a slightly flowier W. It's not the same font. It's supposed to be a different letter somehow. -0. And I'm wondering how I'm supposed to say that. Is this antimemetics? It is. It is still antimemetics. We're going to finish off this thing. Sorry I'm late. There was a snake in my boot. A snake in your boot? You should not worry about the late, though. I don't keep attendance, but you should call the people in Toy Story about that. Sorry. I was watching out here and there, and then there was a bunch at once. And the slaps, whenever there's the big action thing, sometimes I ignore it. And I was getting my way to it, because it was Ola Raven, Dancy, Goose, Nuriakia, all very, very short time. 3125 are actually one of the more simpler concepts out there in the wiki. Ooh, okay. But hello, El Chiquitas. I understand your slap is love. Welcome in. Hello, hello. No, sad, res, frigid. But what do you think with the weird W-O thing, Nuriakia? How am I supposed to say that? Because every time it says it in here, I don't know how to say it, because all I see is half of an uwu face, and I can't take it very seriously. What am I supposed to say? The little squiggly W. Why do you still have the goose with a knife threatening my frau? Chill out, TJ. Stop threatening. I thought you were going to bed. Va? Is it supposed to be va? Let's see if I can copy and paste. That's va. That's supposed to be va, because it is also connected to ara or whatever. The W-O. That's omega. Yes, but the whole thing. 19. What is Oh, you're about to do your roll thing. Yep. Nope. That's not a 19. Oh goodness, you guys are a little chaos. Yes, this one. The W-0 squiggles. The other squiggle I know is SCP-3125, and I just call that squiggle. Okay, so that's just va. Okay. I guess I say va. That's how you... Okay. That feels so weird. No roll and no riz. I don't see love here. Sorry. It's squiggly W and then a dash. Squiggly W. Okay. I will say. Oh, wait. Is it not Va? What should I be saying? It's the Omega 0. I should be saying Omega 0. Okay. Because it said Mobile Task Force Omega 0 Ara Uran. This one, I don't have the accents. It was the last story we read. And I can't copy it because it's a link. Ah, damn it. But yes, that one with the accents. Pronunciations. It's ticking me off that I don't know how I say it. Uppies? You want uppies? Since I'm here chatting, there's a bajillion freaking redeems, but uppies? You want uppies? Oh, Gary-san, with the little uppies. Little uppies. Oh. It makes me so sad. I can't do any of the uppies for you. Shake the bread out of your head. I don't have any. I didn't think I did. Another uppies. Want me to pause redeems again? Nah, leave them be for now. I know I go ignore until I have my break. Try and go eeps. So, okay, turd, no worries. Nobody can uppies me. I'm sorry. No, it's all virtuals. I'm sorry. But yeah, okay. I will call them Omega 0 for the rest of their turns, unless told otherwise. I tried eeps, but me no eep. Did you really try? It looked like you barely were gone. but okay. Let's see if you can try again in a bit. Alright. I said in my last thing, not really. Yeah, exactly. I said in my last stream that, it's important if you can't fall asleep to get up out of the bed and do something until you're physically feeling the really tired again, and then go lie down, because it can make you associate bed with not sleep, and then you can't fall asleep. Okay, where were we at when I was off on a random freaking thing? Most of Omega Zero's members, anchors, were foundationers, or foundation adjacent. That's it. Uppies again, Gary. Uppies. I'm sorry. Okay. With those people's minds blown away in the first strike, the dense web of mutual memory which had held the task force together since its formation tore loose. More than half of the task force was cast into the void and died. The final real death they had evaded for years. What do you mean by the final real death? Do you mean like more than half of the task force that was in this quote-unquote heaven went into a void and then died? And that is a second death, or what? Picked up trees all day. Yeah, I know. You said so much. So then how would you go actually turn off electronics and go eep? Look after yourself. You did a lot. Okay. Around dawn, Eastern Standard Time, Sanchez announced that it was no longer possible for Omega 0 to stay together. Sorry. Huh? Hi, Foxy Shroom Witch. Welcome, and what an interesting way to enter, though. Just, huh? What are we confused about? But I don't want to leave. Okay, I can't force you, but I do tell you. 315 reminds me of kind entities in Magnus Archive. I do not know. Laughs in Trazodone? I don't know what that means. I got context now. Oh, you do have context now. Okay. Oh no. Doomsday? That's all you have for your trigger word? Doomsday? I need to focus. Jeez, sorry. Ugh. Come on, Raven. Okay. Just sleeping pill. Ooh. Ugh. Careful with those. But okay. Around dawn, yes, he announced that it's no possible for them to stay together as a single entity. He split the remains of the task force into 3. Ulrich and the malformed memory of Wheeler were assigned to the same sub-team. Sanchez gave final instructions to continue to search for Bart Hughes or any kind of ally among the living, be they Foundation or GOI or civilian. Okay. So, but the instructions were confusing and incomplete. It was because Sanchez didn't have an iota of faith in what he was saying. He couldn't see a way to the far side of this. It was about little more than survival now. It was about figuring out terms on which to face death. Ulrich never saw him again. Ooh, oh no. More just creepy little, we're gonna have a terrible time, little foreshadowings. I don't love that. Okay. And it breaks in a star and it picks up. She fled with Wheeler and the others in their little sub-team across the face of a noosphere which was rapidly becoming uninhabitable. The world was warping around SCP-3125's presence at the core of human thought, like real space around a black hole. It was building things, real physical artifacts in the center of cities. It was extruding them as if from spores, monumental concrete structures into which people were being fed in dizzying numbers. It was difficult to know what was happening inside of the structures. Some of the millions were dying in there, some weren't. Ulrich didn't look. They found out the ugly way that it was dangerous to look closely. The sub-team was steadily running out of anchors. It could have been a systematic purge, but it could just as easily have been simple statistics. Roving physical and psychic anomalies, vast in their own right, and slave to SCP-3125, were combing the Earth, stripping it of objectors and feeding them into SCP-3125's maw. Ulrich's own anchor, I don't know what they mean by anchor for sure now, a woman who had never known what the Foundation was, but who remembered Ulrich with a heavy heart nearly every day, was killed around that time, found in the hills where she'd been hiding and dragged down into the inferno. Ulrich wasn't looking. She didn't find out until it was too late. She felt the thread of memory come loose and followed it, panicking, past its flapping end and down into physical reality where there was nothing. A collapsed tent, a scuffed-out fire pit where everything important had been piled up and burnt. Who was she? Another Omega-Zero operative asked her. Ulrich had never spoken about it. I only knew her for 2 days, Ulrich said, when I was younger. She saved my life, that's all. This was it, she realized. She was a career Foundationer, an experienced mobile task force operative, for God's sake. She had gone through unimaginable horrors and stacked them up as experience and kept going, but this, Julia's tent and silence and no Julia, was the worst thing she had ever seen. Short of hope and resources, the sub-team had to split again, this time into pairs. Ulrich stayed with Wheeler, clinging to her like a rock, remembering her and being remembered in turn. A cooperating pair could survive untethered for a little while, but not forever. Okay, so because they're memories, I guess anchor is just someone that remembers you. And then the last time they forget you, once the last person forgets you, then your memory is all gone. But because they were, kind of loose in the noosphere, but they remembered each other, they could kind of survive, but not for forever. And now we know that Wheeler, on the chalkboard died. So that's why we're gonna lose Ulrich now. Dang. Story breaks. A star, it picks up. They found shelter on a distant edge of the noosphere in a clutch of arcane structures left there millennia earlier by a long-dead human culture. They were followed, though they didn't realize. One night, Wheeler managed to talk. She said, Adam. It was the first thing she had managed to say which wasn't a direct quote from her own expiring moments. Ulrich was shocked by this. You remember him? The sentence came out agonizingly slowly, as if each syllable was like climbing a mountain. I remember everything. Ulrich stared. She knew that Class C nestics made it impossible for the subject to forget. She also knew that they could cause long erased memories to reassert themselves. Some of them, anyway, depending on the mechanism and intensity of the erasure process. She had hoped that Wheeler's memories of her husband were permanently gone, because she knew they ended in a terrible place. Because he got took by the SCPs. But, what we weren't aware of, these two, but, we know because we read the story, is that he's not gone. ... I don't know where Adam is, she had to tell Wheeler. It was the truth. Nobody did. Omega Zero operatives had, with some solemnity, observed the erasure of Adam Wheeler's mind. But out of respect for Marion's decision and to preserve Adam's safety, they had intentionally diverted their attention during his relocation, destroying their records. He might be alive. I don't know. She didn't know which alternative was worse. Daisy, Wheeler said. Look. She was holding something in her hands. A pitiful, glowing idea form. A thought of someone. It was him. A thread of memory which led right to him. It was some kind of miracle, it had to be, that Wheeler had picked him out of the livid, insensate mass of victims, which now formed SCP-3125's core. He was nearly unrecognizable. He was overrun with SCP-3125. At first glance, it seemed to occupy every nerve in his body, but there was a flickering seed in the back of his mind, a final remnant of what he had once been. It wasn't growing, there was too much pressure. But it was trying to. He was pushing back. Ulrich boggled. She had known that there was something weird and highly rare about the way Adam Wheeler's mind was structured, a kind of thick-skulled resistance to external interference. In fact, she knew that thousands and thousands of people in the world shared that immunity, but that was another way of saying that, among the billions, such people were fantastically rare and difficult to locate. Efforts by Omega Zero to locate them and recruit them as allies had failed. They did not look special or behave radically differently from others. There was no signal flare which went up. It was possible that they were all dead. It was conceivable that Adam Wheeler was the only one of them left in the whole world. Well, we know from his POV that he actually saw himself, someone else that was like him, that didn't get totally taken and they just beat them down. So, there were others. But okay. Ooh, good question for Nuriakia. I see I've got to hydrate and posture check and stretch, so I'll do those real quick. And squeezy bottles for hydrate. Stretching. Okay. We were at, it was conceivable that Adam Wheeler was the only one of them left in the whole world. But he was left. He was alive. I see him, Ulrich said. Wheeler didn't respond. I'll get him out of there, Ulrich said. Her stomach was knotting up with the sheer thought of attempting it. I'll bring him to you. Wheeler didn't respond. 6 original coherent words had exhausted her. She was crazed with frustration at how incapable she had become. She felt as if she was pinned beneath a huge lead block of memory. It hurt to think, it hurt to exist. Ulrich's ability to interact with the physical universe was extremely limited. Other operatives of Omega Zero had been able to create full-on poltergeist activity, changing the temperatures of rooms and throwing furniture around, but she was not that kind of specialist. She could do little more than place phone calls and write on walls. Those abilities weren't likely to get Adam Wheeler moving. Simple words were never going to reach him. The man wasn't even truly conscious. You're not going to be staying? Just coming in? Alrighty, Yar. Thanks for saying hi. Head on out. Take care. Good night. Eat well. Where was... Why are you angry, Frigid? Jeez. Why are you so angry? I did your things. I did the hydrate and the stretch and the posture. Jeez. Okay. Where was it? Wasn't truly conscious. What Ulrich could do was something the task force dubbed identity offense. She could interfere with the internals of living minds to make things happen. Usually enemies, usually the mental equivalent of blunt force trauma, to make them die. But she could act with surgical precision if it was called for. Okay, so she's gonna release him. Could she not have thought to do this with as many people as she could? If you have this ability and you're fighting this war, do this as much as you can, is what I would have thought. But anyway. Operating on Adam Wheeler was difficult and time-consuming. His mind was tough, and it was continually bathed in SCP-3125's radioactive presence. Ulrich would cut, and then wait as Wheeler's mind self-healed, which took days, and then she would cut again. The seedling metaphor served well. The operation reminded her of tending a plant. If nothing else, the whole procedure took real-time weeks. The patience required to keep her hands off for days at a time was nearly inhuman. Yes, it's between stories. You'll get there, Frigid. Jeez. Wheeler said nothing else in that time. She was conserving energy. It felt as if she had a finite number of words left in her, and speaking each one brought her an inch closer to the end. She had to wait. He'll be here, Ulrich said, soon. Then it breaks, and a star, and it picks up. Now, Ulrich watches from a great abstract distance as Adam Wheeler folds up. Marion Wheeler is dead, finally, truly dead, and Adam Wheeler's mind is breaking apart. Oh, this is the moment. Okay, so this is right after he saw the chalk dust end. It's an awful and incredible thing to watch. Even passing into the maw of SCP-3125 and back wasn't enough to permanently break him. But this was it, the silver bullet. This was the way to hurt Adam Wheeler in such a way that he would never recover. Present his wife to him, a brain-damaged wreck, just in time for her to die. Ulrich writes on the blackboard, off to one side, so as to not mar the image of Marion, and in different handwriting. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Adam, please come back to the phone. I need your help. So, she had tried to get him to look, but he was just down. He could not watch. She's trying to write on the board after Marion's left. Adam is prostrate on the floor and becoming catatonic. He doesn't hear it when Ulrich tries calling the other office phone, the one on the other desk. And she too is dying now. She and Marion were anchoring one another as best they could, but it's the end of the line. She has perhaps hours. All right, she says, to no one. There is no one left. She rolls up her figurative sleeves. This will not be too difficult for her. Adam Wheeler's revived memories of his wife shine inside him, and around the edge she can see the faint scar where they were burnt out the first time. She has a better vantage point. She can do a cleaner, more permanent job. Oh, jeez, this is why he got up so much better. Oh my gosh. This will hurt just as much as it did then. I need her, Adam says. He's still face down. Don't take her. Please. Ulrich writes, you need to save the world. There's nobody else. Adam doesn't look up, but he says, to hell with the world. It can burn. And the story breaks a star, and it comes back up. So it looks like Ulrich, really fully, properly removed all memory of Marion, and that is why Adam could get up and not feel so broken. Wow. Okay. He recovers a second time. He's fine, upbeat, game, eager to get moving. She explains everything she can, tersely, just the key words. The Foundation, the Antimemetics Division, the situation, the objective. He absorbs it all surprisingly well. He asks cogent follow-up questions, which is always a positive sign. This thread of memory which was sustaining you, he says, don't I count? I'll remember you. Your memory could be strong enough, she replies, but you just don't know me well enough. Ah, that's regrettable. Ulrich tells him in detail how to find Site 41. It's going to be an immense trek, made significantly longer by Wheeler's need to avoid urban areas. Because in the urban areas there's going to be more dangers, right? What's that little alert thing? No spoons? Like you're out of spoons? Low spoon alert? What are you doing? Why are you threatening murder and Cupid on Pudgy? This is mixed signals. What's going on, Frigid? You're all over the place. Okay. Gotta stay out of the urban areas, yes. She describes the antimemetic shroud which obscures Site 41 and most other Foundation's sites. A shroud she and the rest of Omega Zero found to be totally impenetrable. A shroud which Wheeler, if he prepares himself, may be able to walk straight through. She warns him about the psychotic, hurricane-like anomalies and the violent roaming agglomerations of SCP-3125 occupied non-humans. She describes a few techniques for avoiding their attention. She decides not to voice her private hope that, as a recent escapee from SCP-3125's interior, Wheeler will still smell right, quote-unquote smell right, to them and be able to pass. She doesn't want him becoming overconfident and incautious. She explains basic survival skills. I hike, I camp, Wheeler says. Still, he has never hiked or camped in an occupied foreign world. He has never gone months without electricity and plumbing. They find that they have plenty to talk about. Bring a spork, confuse people. Spoonman, come together with your hands, save me. Oh, jeez. Okay. They are on the phone for long enough that Adam notices that the red sun outside the office window isn't moving. It hasn't risen. It hasn't set. Either the world stopped turning completely, or the thing hanging out there isn't the sun. Okay. Unknown, Ulrich has to tell him. There was a foundation which could answer this question, once. It seems like this foundation had the world's better interests at heart, Wheeler says. In heaven, Ulrich laughs weakly. The foundation was never so simple, she says. Miss Ulrich, I sense we're coming to the end of our time together. Yes. The odds stacked against you were tremendous, Wheeler says, but you saved my life, and the odds stacked against me are, well, still appalling, but significantly better thanks to you. I'll do my level best, and I will remember you even if it doesn't make a difference. Kill this thing, Mr. Wheeler, Ulrich says. When you get the chance, don't hesitate. I, Wheeler says, like A-Y-E, I. I guess Wheeler might be, even though we know that Site 41 is like North America, maybe Wheeler is not from. Anyway. And at the same time, someone behind Ulrich laughs sharply once. Huh? What the hell does that mean? No. How in the noosphere? Seriously? Okay. She turns. There's a man there standing with her in the noosphere. A gaunt, younger man with an awful, open-mouthed grin. Sounding a lot like Red, our, face of 3125. He has been waiting silently and excitedly for an unknowable amount of time for Ulrich to notice him, and now that she does, he gets everything he could possibly want from her reaction. A rush of delectable horror and alarm. Then he cuts her off, killing her instantly before she can get one syllable of warning to Wheeler. Wheeler hears nothing. A faint click and then a dial tone. He hangs up. Because as far as he knew, he was ending the conversation. It was just a... Oh my god. Don't mind me, I'm gonna scream. Okay. First I whisper screamed and then I nearly muted my mic and screamed again. Oh my god, holy god. Holy shit, holy shit. Okay. Well, that was Unthreaded. Next up is Wild Light. The Wild Light. My goodness. Nobody expects the Spanish Sporquisition. Okay, I'm sorry. Why scream? What do you mean, why scream, DJ? Red got into the new sphere. Red killed in heaven. Additionally, also killed someone that was gonna die anyway, but the way it's written was like, and she couldn't give any warning. Well, yeah. Now that he could be anywhere. And that... maybe because they were talking? I don't know. Oh my gosh. Okay. They're not gonna go well. I'm scared. But okay. Guess what it is? It's... boop, boop, boop. Trigger time. Sorry, I was half asleep. No, it's okay, DJ. Just, log off and go bed. Noxier, ooh, what a interesting name. Welcome in. Good evening. Hello. Oh, look at that little Bulbasaur all happy. And the Gengar. I have said before, I very much appreciate the Pokemon emotes whenever they exist. So hello, welcome in. Okay, so what we're gonna do, the first two here are rage puffing, but we're only gonna do one at a time. And because it's a little bit out there, I think, unfortunately, we're not gonna start with the rage puffing. Just changed your name. Oh. It says that you're a first message. First message? I would think, does that mean like you created a new account or changed your name? Because this is an interesting thing. Does Twitch not recognize the same account with a slightly different name? Or did you go like, I'm just going to create a whole new person? I was just Noxia before. Oh, okay. Then you're still new. What the heck? Don't tell me this. I really want to find a cute Mawwill emote. Yeah. Yes. Well, it's hard. The spookier coded ones are sometimes harder to find in cute form. Followed a few days ago, though. Oh, well then still. What the heck? Why is it still doing this? I don't know. I'm not in charge of them for how they do this. I don't know. Whatever. Okay. Yeah. I guess so. Okay. What I was saying? Yes. I'm not going to start with rage puffing. I'm going to start with the softer things, and then we'll rage puff before we go into the stuffs. There's so many things. Mr. Onzi? Is that your name? Yes. Yeah. My freaking throat. Mr. Onzi, welcome in. Hiya, yes. Hola. I have a trigger word I must say. Sometimes when they make these, it's like they're trying to trap me. But this one's not much of a trap. Frigid is cool. Frigid is cool. Frigid Meatwad requested that, but it's true. Okay, I'm gonna start with Kalimba and Humming, Singing Frog. We'll get to as many of those as we can before the rage puffing, but I don't think we'll do more than what's already here and one rage puff. I think. Too cool for school, if you say so. Okay. I'll do that stretch and posture check in a minute, because I had just recently done it, and I'm still doing good. We're going to start with Kalimba. That's what we were doing. Note. Where do we do? I think this one. I messed it up. Nope. You could spread my redeems out whenever. I just like redeeming a few at a time. Sounds good, Pudgy. I don't know if the heartbeats I hear are yours or mine. If they are mine, then I must be about to die because they sound very loud. They're not mine because my mic is not sensitive enough. Mayhaps it is time to talk to a doctor. Are you okay? They should not be too loud. Is your ear on another part of your body? Are you hearing our heartbeats that way? Because that could be a thing. But please take care. Please be careful. I hope you're okay. What? Concerned. I was gonna run through the song one more time. I'm sure it's fine. I hope so. I'm gonna run through the song one more time, and then we're gonna move on to humming. Listen to me just random clinking. Okay, anyway, here we go. Brain just evacuated. What just happened? Oh my gosh, how did I... Okay, restart one more time. Jeez, Raven, okay. And that is it. That is our kalimba for that redeem. My goodness, I was a stumbly little mess for a minute. But let's do humming. That's a lot harder to end up stumbling over. To go. I squished myself up a bit at the last note so it didn't sound good. Okay. flowers are humming. But we're not done with this musical theme. We're going straight into a singing frog. Not a singing bull. That is an option as well. But it's not that one. It's the frog. Get over here, frog. Okay. Yes, the sing frog emote. I love it. I don't think we properly named him, did we? I know that was something we talked about, but I don't remember if we did. Either way, here he goes doing a sing. You want me to go in reverse? It doesn't go as well. Let's see if I can. Blorg? You think he's a blorg? That's fun. I gotta say, I like the. You're gonna be fun here, aren't you? Okay, there's our little man. His ribbons is done. Good dude. Good performance. Get your triangle toes back over there. Laughing, little otter. Pleased with yourself. Looks like the little otter's kind of winking. Anyway, okay. Pudgy said I could put them in different orders. I think I will do glass jar and save the mic springs. I'll do glass jar, tin and plastic jar. And then we straighten out and we do the rest after one rage puff at the next things. That's what I think. Let's do glass jar tappies. Okay. Come on. There we go. Let's do this. Look at that little man. Good to see him. What was that? Little party with the Game Boy flashing colors too. It's little trying to box, but then there's a bunch of rainbow. I like it. Okay. And that was our glass jar. That was those tappies. Oh, thank you, Noxier. I did it. Got that one. Yes. Okay, so we'll do tin and plastic jar. Then we'll move. But I think I'll do that posture check and stretch now. Let's get that sorted. Okay. Alright. The tin in a plastic jar and a rage puff. And then away we go. I'm always surprised when people want this one, because it was a silly little, this is a sound I make, and I like that people like it. Ooh, you like the jar sounds? I'm glad. But why are there a bunch of cockroaches? What is going on? Okay, here we go. There was our little tins in a plastic jar. Noriyuki said moment. Is that because you redeemed those? It's your moment. Okay. Yeah, we'll do the singing bowl and the card dealing after. We're going to do our first rage puff now. And then we're going to go back to stories. Alright, here we go. We had lots of rage puff earlier today. So my little rage puffed out already. Ugh. And Fet, why don't you drop that rage puff explanation command, because we do have some new peoples. It's good to show. There it is. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Here we go. I can do this. Maybe I can't do this. I'm tired. Alright, here we go. I pout. Wait. No. 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 Oh my God. You can't. Me when there is a rage cap, when there is a cap on rage puffing. Ha ha ha! Deal with it. best rage pup ever. If you say so. The absolute noive. What does noive mean, Morty? I don't know what you mean. What the heck is that? But it is definitely it is a Raven special. We think it's nerve but with an accent. Oh, the absolute noive. That's what you meant. The noive on that one. The Taz was the best. Oh yes, the Taz is funny. I like it. It'd be fun to bring that back out. Okay. Well, we are good. We already have 3 rage puffs. We're set. We're gonna have plenty. Okay. Quiet. I don't know how long I was just quiet. OBS decided, hey, you're gonna be quiet now, even though you didn't frickin' touch this. Anyway, I'm back. I'm audible. I was saying, that's my purse. I don't know you. The people that recreate it and do it really well, that's really fun. I definitely can't. And I do a lot better when I've just heard something to try and recreate it. But it's a cute bit. Okay, anyway. Wild Light. The very next entry in Dew's suggestion of how to read these. I still stand by. We should have been able to see How Did Marion Wheeler Die? We should have read that one, shouldn't we? Anyway, okay. Anyway, it's very possible we do get around to that one. What I like to do is when I've read one, there are often like links inside the stories to another one of the stories, and I'll note them because I keep track of all the stories I've read so that I know if I've already read one for stream. And that way I can take note. Oh, this is related to that. This is referenced in that. We should probably read it. Be better if we read it in the other order. But since I read things, if I'm none of these are I read beforehand. I'm always discovering them with you guys. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Wild Light. The meeting room is Containment Unit S167-00-1006, which is the skull of a stillborn Cryptomorpha gigantes. I'm not sure what that is, but I'm going to click on the link that it has, and we'll probably see what eminal it is trying to be. It is trying to be SCP-2256. It's still loading, but I got it. It's SCP-2256. 222? No, just 2256. Stillborn. Yeah, sad. So it's a baby skull, but it's the meeting room, so I imagine that it's very big. Oh. This page is unresponsive. Then we will just give up and go back. Can we go back? Will you let me go back? Yeah, we exited. Wild Light. Okay, we're going back. Anyway. The hollowed out space inside the skull cavity is a prototypical Vegas room, a place where what happens stays. People go in, they come out, their memories are sieved out of the universe as they leave, and they remember nothing. The skull was acquired in the 90s. The information suppression effect is a byproduct of the species' natural antimemetic camouflage. Ooh, okay. Enjoy, Noxer. A phenomenon which rendered the colossally tall creature somehow nearly impossible to observe in the wild. It's a phenomenon Dr. Bartholomew Hughes Bartholomew Hughes and his team spent years figuring out how to replicate. They've got it now. They can synthesize C. gigante's bone, the Cryptomorphos gigante's bone, extruding it in prefabricated pieces from steel grids. They can bolt the plates together to make hermetically sealed boxes. Passive mimetic insulation, no need for complicated machines. It's got a lot of potential. Thanks, I'll be quiet now. You'll be fine, it's all good. Okay, while I'm reading, I'm less able to respond to chat. The skull is 45 meters long, 16 wide, and 15 tall. It resides at the center of a vast purpose-built containment unit of its own, surrounded by the rest of the same C. gigante's individual's bones, laid out in meticulous radial patterns for space efficiency. The ossuary occupies about a third of the containment unit's floor area. The rest comprises immense industrial vessels which hold its harvested organs. Some of them are actual vessels, repurposed cargo ships loaded with brain matter and skin tissue. That's disgusting. The floor plan of the warehouse is clear enough, navigable if grim. But from ground level on foot, the place is vertiginous. I don't know which word if I'm saying this right, but okay. Vertiginous, intimidatingly macabre place, even fluorescent lit around the clock. Hughes walks down an echoing canyon created by, on his left, a 100-meter-long four-leg bone, and on his right, the blue steel container, holding the creature's first stomach. First stomach? They got more. Ahead, the skull peers down the canyon at him, a distant yellow-white tower, fuzzed with scaffolding and disused scanning rig. A disused scanning rig. Its eye sockets vacant black. As he walks, Hughes has to remind himself continually that these are all the remains of a single organism, one of the tiniest examples of its species. Behind the skull, where there used to be the creature's first neck vertebra, there is now a large compound mechanical airlock, a ramp, and some steps, and a staging area. The staging area serves as a miniature customs deck, tracing every person and item entering and leaving S167001006. Although memories are wiped on exit, written and electronic records emerging from the interior have to be handled manually. Standard procedure is for the first person exiting the room to bring written instructions for the filtration officer, telling them what the other information from the room interior needs to be scrubbed and what is safe to retain. Usually the list of information to retain is very short. Well, yes, they gotta be. They gotta be very careful in these things, so yeah, it's all sealed up. There are seats, scanners, a coffee machine, a trolley loaded with cleaning equipment, and a stack of cages for the germs. Cages for germs? How big are the germs? Parked just outside of the staging area, there is also a limousine, bulletproof. Where's everybody else? Hughes asks the Foundationer who meets him, whose name is Bachner. I'm not late. This way, please, she says, leading him to a seat near a scanner. Hughes has gone through this procedure a dozen times now, so he knows to hold his left arm out. Bachner tears the wrapper off a sterile bracelet-like sensor and clamps it around Hughes's left wrist, then observes a nearby screen. They went in almost an hour ago, she says. Hughes frowns. That's not usual. Why would they tell him a different start time? Why would they need an hour of preparation time before he showed up? Did they say anything? He says, did they say anything? Of course not. Hughes hasn't the slightest clue what this meeting is about, or what any of the previous meetings were about, or even if they have a common topic. Actually, he does have some clues. The timing of the meetings is one. The first took place early this year, and when they emerged amnesiac, they were clutching written instructions from themselves to continue meeting monthly. Around October, the meetings became weekly. They had 3 last week, and after Friday they created a new schedule. They meet for 90 minutes every morning, starting today, Monday. A more significant clue is the list of attendees. Other than Hughes, 3 high-caliber researchers from his own organization are in attendance, along with the directors of Sites 41, 45, and 167, the last of whom is Michael Lee, the Foundation's chief of antimemetics and Hughes' direct manager. Okay. What gets me is that director of Site 41, they're showing up for this. They know where Hughes is. That's really unfortunate because, all that time Wheeler's at 41 trying to know where Hughes is too. Anyway, sorry. I wonder if they understood things, but oh well. Okay, he steals a glance at the parked car behind him. There's also this guy, or gal. Hughes doesn't know for sure to whom the limo belongs, but the list of people in the world who have the authority to drive a street vehicle into a Foundation containment building is extremely short. Well, not to prevaricate, another one I don't know. It's 13 people. There is an O5 in the room, and O5 is extremely interested in their covert discussions. This is a new and non-trivially alarming development. I can do this. We can get my mouth to make the right sounds, right? Oh, okay. He nods at the car. Shouldn't this place be lousy with private security right now? Bachner shrugs. Anybody go into the unit with the O5? Bodyguard? Anybody stay in the car? No. Hughes glances at the car again. The windows are tinted, though surely there's a driver behind the wheel, at least. But where's the real protection? Maybe it's all invisible. Microbes. Occult spells of warding. He feels like the car is watching him back. Open your mouth, please. Bachner puts a disc-like cap on Hughes's head, presses an emitter to the roof of his mouth, and fires 2 pulses of radiation through his brain. Any psychic intrusions? Muffled by the emitter, Hughes manages, She pulls out the emitter and discards it. Did you experience REM sleep in the last 12 hours? He wipes his mouth. Yes. How many digits do you have? 10. Count them for me, please. Hughes spreads his fingers and counts them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. His right thumb is 5. Bachner injects him with a substance that will prevent his body from rejecting the germ, then lifts a germ out of one of the cages. It splays its tendrils out, confused, not a fan of being picked up. Tilt your head back and look at the ceiling, please, eyes wide open, and if you could take off your glasses. Hughes obliges, handing his glasses to Bachner for scanning. I dislike this part, he states. What are they doing with this stuff? What was the emitter, whatever, what was this doing to him? Any psychic intrusions? What are they doing? Okay. Weird SCP shit, I guess. Anyway. Bachner has no comment. She lays the germ over his eyes like a sleep mask. There's a cold, sludgy sensation as it wraps itself around his chin and hair. Then the tendrils meet back behind his neck and begin knitting with his spine. Hughes sees darkness for a few worrying seconds, then a circular indentation forms in the germ's hide over the top of his right eye. And there's a feeling like part of his brain dislocating, and a fake eye opens where his real one should be. The fake eyeball is around 4 times the size of his own. Though it is singular, its 4 pupils grant him decent depth perception, and he can see a little way into the ultraviolet. The germ is acting as an external block of short to medium-term memory, and as a proxy between the conscious Bart Hughes and the real world. When the meeting is over, the germ will be removed and incinerated along with all memory of the meeting. Oh, that's how they do that. Interesting. There are other amnestic approaches: gas, injectable drugs, surgical techniques, occult rituals. These are safe, proven techniques for mass use on the general public and Foundation staff alike, but they all operate on the same essential principle that the unwanted knowledge has already entered the mind and must now be removed or suppressed after the fact. Such procedures are imperfect. Memory removal can leave critical fragments behind, occasionally enough for people to rebuild dangerous holes, and amnestic technologies for causing suppressed memories to reassert themselves are continually advancing. Recent developments on the latest generation family of biochemical amnestics, Class Z, seem likely to produce a substance which renders all the after... Sorry, I'm getting a little excited. Seems likely to produce a substance which renders all after the fact memory erasure techniques irrelevant. The only amnestic defense against Class C will be decapitation. So, if there's advance warning time, it's better to physically compartmentalize, to air gap, to outsource the memories to another organism entirely, and never let them touch your own mind. You can't be forced to recall something which you genuinely never experienced. It's a complex and dynamic field, one of several fields in which Hughes is a world expert. There are machines which could perform the same task as the germ, silicon modules you wear like a headset, plugged into a surgically implanted jack behind your ear. But Hughes would rather die than submit to interfacing his brain directly with a computer, especially a Foundation-made computer. Nobody is getting his brainwaves. When he joined the Foundation 30 years ago, he put a DNU in his will. Do not upload. Everybody thought he was crazy. Of course, using both the germs and a Vegas room feels rather like overkill. That's another clue. Guy was looking ahead. He knew what was up. Your belongings have been scanned, Bachner tells him. He fills his pockets and takes up his laptop. Walking slightly unsteadily because of the new weight he's carrying on his head, he climbs the stairs to the airlock. The story has a break, a star, and it picks up. Hughes would be the first to admit that a typical foundationer has appalling taste. A typical foundationer picks brutal functionality over aesthetic pleasure 100 times out of 100, and a depressing percentage of foundationers don't even comprehend the distinction. Hughes sees this reflected in the architectural choices and interior design of the Foundation's buildings and offices, and in its labs and containment facilities, which commonly cultivate a helpless, bleak, cliff-edge atmosphere. He sees it in its machinery, its devices, its tools, and even in its font choices. Hard edges, clashing colors, failing aircon, impersonality, clutter, claustrophobia. And so, S167001006, that interior is a surprise and a delight, because it's a skull. it's a bit different. Popping in to say hi. Oh, hi, Millennial. Go eat. Take care. Sleep well. Thank you for saying hi. It's a delight. Hughes actually sighs. It seems like someone hired a designer. The place is spacious and modern, well lit, with selected walls painted in bright secondary colors. There's not a bit of exposed concrete in sight. Ooh. S167001006 isn't a single space, but a self-contained suite laid out on 2 floors. There's a central meeting area with a double-height ceiling, a long oval table, and Herman Miller chairs. Along the left wall there are smaller breakout meeting rooms with frosted glass walls and doors. Above those, reached by a flight of stairs, there's a kitchen area, and in the back are some additional rooms, restrooms, and storage. The carpet is gray and orange, a non-repeating hexagonal pattern. The place is well ventilated and smells of coffee. Nice. I gotta ask, how's the bathroom plumbing with the way it's all has to be like airlock seal work? Because couldn't something teeny tiny, couldn't like a really tiny germ get through then? And stuff like that? Shouldn't that be a concern? Maybe. Already in bed on my phone, very sleepy, very much. Shush. I'm sorry. I hope it will shush. I hope it will. Okay. Da-da-da. Marion Wheeler does meet here. Okay, good. Sorry, I'm a sentence ahead. It smelled of coffee, right? There are 4 people waiting for him. Marion Wheeler, who runs Site 41, yahoo, is descending the kitchen stairs, so we're back in time yet again. Holding a steaming disposable cup. Graves, director of Site 45, is at the main table, typing at a laptop. Michael Lee is at the back of the room chatting with 058. All of them are wearing germs. The 4 huge eyeballs of the 4 germs swivel in unison to stare at Hughes as he comes in. It's a highly disconcerting effect. Hughes forces himself to smile back. Can they see your smile? Where does the germ end? Anyway, okay. You're here, 058 says. Okay, I guess it has to be above. It's got to be just on the eyeballs, right? Mocha is with me, lying on me right now, purring a lot. Mocha is the name of your kitty. It just got clicked together in my brain. Oh, I want the kitty. I want the purrs. Okay, sorry. Focus. I can do this. Okay. You're here, 058 says. He is ... strange looking, even accounting for the germ. Hughes has never seen an 05 before that he's aware of. And 058 looks very unlike what he expected. He tries not to stare, but his own germ is extremely good at staring. You're all caught up, Hughes asks. The nature of the asynchronous work loop is that the first quarter of any meeting in a Vegas room is spent reading notes left from prior meetings. Hughes' correct guess, correct in brackets there, is that there's been an hour-long pre-meeting, and then everybody broke for coffee, and now they're resuming. Oh, you're singing a little soft kitty song. Yee. Okay. We are, 058 says. He takes a seat at the head of the table with Graves to his left. Lee sits to his right, and Wheeler to Lee's right. 058 indicates a particular vacant chair opposite Wheeler, where a printed document is waiting for Hughes to read it. Yes, she's a black kitty with a white spot on her chest. Very sweet, but hates my desk chair, so chat only hears her from a distance. Aw, that's very cute. Aw. Okay, sorry. He's got his own spot to read his document. Hughes sets his laptop down, hesitant to approach the document. You want me to read this now? Take as long as you need. Where's my team? Hughes asks. We're 3 bodies short. Read the document, Dr. Hughes, 058 says. He seems upbeat. But that news doesn't seem upbeat, but okay. Perhaps he's projecting an upbeat facade to help Hughes to forget exactly how much authority and power he wields. His net worth is said to be essentially infinite. Ooh. It's not really about money at his level. He and his kind can do anything. Hughes sits and reads. The document is a scientific paper purportedly authored by Hughes himself, with various of his fellow researchers co-authoring, including 2 who should be in this room right now. Hughes doesn't recognize the paper's title or content, but that's nothing special in his line of work. The text is written in his own formal academic style, so he has no reason to doubt its authenticity. It's a brisk read, very dense and to the point, written for a target audience of other memetic scientists. In the abstract, it announces the observation of a new, titanically powerful and dangerous, in brackets as anti, and then memeplex, provisionally designated SCP-3125, for which the authors plan to seek a Paulian classification. I guess Hughes says. The main body of the first page describes 8 different phenomena, most but not all of them anomalous, most but not all of the anomalous ones controlled by the Foundation and having SCP designation. From a cursory glance, the phenomena appear to be totally unrelated, either to one another or to the proposed SCP-3125. Hughes suspects he could derive the implied link between them, given a few minutes, but elects to read on. He flips the piece of paper over. The whole document is just 2 sides of A4. The other side is mostly mathematics. There is one graph and one equation and a brief technical description of two highly novel memepletic transformation procedures, which the authors dub, quote-unquote here, amplification. Then there's dash, end of paragraph, and it picks up the next one, dash, something like a jump scare in text form. There's a crucial logical leap, and for Hughes, the arrival of comprehension is so blunt, so sudden and frightening that it physically startles him. Even knowing that the word Apollyon, in quotes, was on the table, even primed him to expect something extremely nasty on this side of the paper, he recoils. Oh, fucking hell, he says, I guess. Well, what did he understand? Come on. I want to know. Tell me. Let me read the paper. Nobody else says anything. They wait expectantly for Hughes to gather his thoughts and draw some conclusions. He reads the rest of the paper, figuring out what it's going to say almost live as he reads it. As he reaches the end, the initial shock hasn't worn off. The sheer scope of SCP-3125 is a significant distance beyond his current comprehension. He's had a glimpse of it through a keyhole. He would need time in front of a computer to play with the results to get a grasp of it. No, he needs to build filters first. He needs to build filters first. The equivalent of lead-lined gloves to let him manipulate this radioactive idea complex with some degree of safety. He feels like it may have glimpsed him. Apollyon classification is reserved for highly destructive active anomalies which are functionally impossible to contain, something past Keter. An Apollyon class anomaly is an anomaly more or less guaranteed to ultimately destroy the world, no matter what is done to stop it. The only thing which can avert that particular XA class scenario is if something else, likely some other Apollyon class anomaly, destroys the world first. Their relative threat level is managed not in material containment resources, but in inevitable years. Off the top of his head, Hughes would put that figure as a single digit. Yeah, this is it, he says. It's bizarrely liberating. This is the one that's going to kill us. He looks around the table. Did we obtain Apollyon classification? No, 058 says. No? 058 smiles thinly. Current thinking in the overseer space is that Apollyon classification is a confession of defeat. It's bad for morale. It cultivates defeatist attitudes. Aside from the special classifications, Keter is considered the top of the hierarchy as of right now. All extant Apollons are likely to be reevaluated and reclassified Keter over the next year or so. Other than that, what do you think? I mean, me, as Raven, would say, what the fuck? Oh, it's bad for morale. Well, yeah, we're aware that we are going to die. What the hell? Sir. There needs... Oh my gosh, okay. Well, then classify it as probably gonna kill us all instead. And then, maybe people have like, oh, well, there's a little bit of hope. But, like, it needs to be aware that this is bad. Not just like, oh, well, that's not great. Bad. Please? No? Okay. Hughes says, you want containment procedures? We've had this conversation a bunch of times before, correct? Let's imagine this is the first time, 058 says. Hughes stares darkly at his paper. We could exterminate all intelligent human life, he says. If there are no sapient hosts in this universe, SCP-3125 can't incarnate. There's a faintly stunned pause. Yes, Wheeler says, you've pitched that approach before, and I don't think any of us here have ever been completely sure if you were serious. Well, yes, we are, okay? Oh, my gosh. Ah! Okay, I'm probably going to mess up when I say this, but I'm going to do my best. Welcome and thank you for the follow. Loyu? Suye? I'm so sorry. I know I'm not saying this right, but welcome in. We have a new, come on, thingy. Wake up. We have a new tradition to drop some dance emotes whenever we've got a new friend. Let's do this, Dancy. Doop boop boop. So whenever someone else does a follow, we do a little dance emote. If you'd like to drop one, this is that little moment. But thanks again, Loyu Shuye, for the follow. I'm so sorry that I'm probably messing it up. But if you want to try and get me to say it right, I would be happy to try. Okay, where am I? Oh yes, we weren't sure you were serious. I'm completely serious that we could do it, and completely serious that it would work, Hughes says. Our mission statement is secure, contain, protect. Somewhere down the line, we really should look into adding and keep as many human beings alive as possible to that. It's implicit that humanity is what we protect, Graves says. Secure the anomalies, contain the anomalies, protect the anomalies. How does it scan otherwise? We're getting off topic, Wheeler says. Yeah. Let's be real. The Foundation has never been about protect the anomalies. It's always been protect the humans. Fuck the anomalies. Who cares? In their eyes. But anyway. You laugh at me? Oh, you laugh at me? I'm sure I mess up. Okay. Where was? We're getting off topic, Wheeler says. We're not exterminating all sapient life. We could immediately terminate and suppress all memetics and antimemetics research worldwide, Hugh says. We would have to systematically dismantle the whole scientific field forever, stop all the experiments, scrap all the research, brainwash all the researchers. If nobody actively researches this field, nobody will ever find SCP-3125. It stays buried in the farthest reaches of idiotic space indefinitely like radioactive waste. He looks up at the ceiling. The problem is interesting. Ironically, the most practical way to do that would be to develop an artificial meme, one which encodes the idea that memetics research is intrinsically worthless and harmful. Enrich it with religious or pseudoscientific virals and release it to the general public. A year after it got out, we'd be tearing our own labs down, unless the Antimemetics Division's institutional immunity to that kind of external threat was strong enough to stand up to the pressure. Interesting scenario. Even if we don't go in that direction, we should definitely think about wargaming it in simulations, see what outcomes are likely, and then it's interrupted with Bart, Wheeler says. Why is there... Oh, 'cause 18 plus. We want people to be grown up, because some of these topics get very dark, and sometimes they go in directions that are scary enough to be talking about on Twitch and play with the rules maybe a little bit. And so we would definitely want people that are a little bit older, a little bit able to handle that a bit better. And the best way to do that is just to kind of say, adults, please, only. Where was it? Bart, Wheeler says, no, hiding wouldn't work. It could be introduced externally or occur naturally, and again interrupted. We know, Bart. That's already happened. SCP-3125 is incarnating as we speak. Look at these precursor anomalies. We're in what you called the foreshadow. It's here. Wheeler's referring to predictive models which Hughes must have created himself during prior meetings. Models with which he doesn't have time to familiarize himself. Still, he gets it. He wishes he didn't get it. His fear comes from a completely different place from most people's. The sheer alien scale of the adversary is enough to intimidate most into petrified submission. From a cursory read, SCP-3125 looks like a nightmare scenario. It's going to turn human civilization into something beyond Hughes's ability to imagine. But that's every Monday in this job, and in any case, Hughes doesn't have much of an imagination. He is intimately familiar with almost the entire SCP database. Seriously, that's huge. And he's a world authority in anomalous containment. The few areas of science he doesn't have genius-level ability in, he has trusted colleagues who do. They are all solved problems, locked boxes. This is different. He has more ideas, but there is, mechanically, no way to start working on the problem. It would eviscerate him the moment he tried to comprehend the entire problem. He'd need to design and build the box while already inside the box he was building. He would need to box the universe. He looks around the room's walls. They seem to be holding up. We could hide in units like this for the rest of our lives, he says. Our whole species. While SCP-3125 roamed our reality unchecked like a plague. I declare this to be the exterior of the containment unit. Done. No reaction. It's like, well, this... Yep, check. I don't think we can do it, he says. If SCP-3125 is live in consensus nominality right now, the game is over. I don't care if a polyon classification lives or dies. From where I'm sitting, this anomaly is functionally uncontainable. My team and I may have said something different on prior iterations. I could be in the wrong headspace to see the answer. We are all of us different people from day to day. No, 0508 says. You say the same thing every time. Then why are you still trying it? This is the definition of insanity, friend. Okay. So that's it. Is that it? 058 says, the objective of the Foundation is protection. In the majority of cases, this involves the secure containment of anomalous entities, the establishment of special containment procedures such that such entities can be kept safely and indefinitely. Standard guidance is against active neutralization and to avoid destruction at all costs. Everybody in this room is aware of this. However, senior Foundation officials, such as me, have the right to waive that guideline under certain narrow conditions. I'm exercising that right. Sorry, you're not going to kill it at this point, my guy. Okay. I deem that in our reality, SCP-3125 cannot coexist with human civilization. We're going to destroy SCP-3125 forever. Does that change your outlook any? Special neutralization procedures. Hughes deadpans. His expression is worsening by the minute. 058 adds, I know that neutralization is ... generally considered easier than mere containment. In this case, friend. Hughes says, when I first joined the Foundation, I asked my mentor, who retired many years ago, what's the biggest anomaly we've ever contained? That he was cleared for, I meant, of course, and he told me about a very old rumor he once heard back in his earliest days, when he was just starting out. The rumor was that Abrahamic religions had not always been monotheistic. Originally, there were 3 capital G gods, and sometime in the past 150 years, the Foundation had killed 2 of them. I believed him. I was very young and inexperienced and naive and kind of in awe. It wasn't until years later that I thought back to the conversation, and the fact that I'd never heard that rumor or anything like it from anyone else, and realized he had been bullshitting me. And now it's decades later still, and modern meme-plectic technology is 100 billion times more advanced than it was back then, and I built 30% of it, and I look at what the Antimemetics Coalition handles on a quarterly basis, and I know better than anybody on the face of this earth what is or is not possible, and ... He trails off. Oh, good night, Millennial. Thanks for tucking him in, Fat. Take care. Eat well. Okay, he trails off. They're all waiting expectantly for him to say something. He can't get there. He's in the wrong frame of mind. Maybe he's in denial. Maybe the solution is an idea he doesn't want to take on board. How ironic. And then interrupted. What did I say? Just tell me. So I guess in previous things he means. Your team suggested that just because SCP-3125 is the most powerful meme-plectic threat ever observed doesn't mean it's the top of the hierarchy, 058 says. You suggested that it would be possible to synthesize an idea an order of magnitude still more powerful than SCP-3125, specifically designed to neutralize SCP-3125, and under our control, a counter meme. That would take That could be ... possible. Hughes hazards. It would be insanely dangerous. It would require tremendous resources and 10 to 20 years of real-time work completely uninterrupted to avoid observation. We'd need to be hermetically sealed away from the exterior universe for that entire time. We'd need a lab as big as a launch arcology. Wait a second. His brain has just caught up. He realizes the context in which he's saying these things, and he's been working for the Foundation for a long time. It's done, he says. The lab, it's been built. It was built decades ago in secret, and we put our best researchers inside it, and now the work is done. That's what we're meeting for now. We're ready to go. Hell yeah! Hell yeah, they did it. Okay. Hell yeah. Okay. We're ready to go. We're figuring out how to deploy the counter meme. That's brilliant. If I'm right, that's brilliant. Am I right? Oh no, he's just guessing. Darn. Okay, we don't know. Bart, Wheeler says, when you joined the Foundation, you were taught that a day would come when you would have to, with very little preparation, sacrifice much or all of your existence to protect what most needs protecting. You've worked here for 30 years, and all of that time you knew that that sacrifice would be in your future someday. We were all taught the same thing. It feels to Hughes as if a shadow falls over him. He looks at Michael Lee, his director, who hasn't spoken yet. Lee says, "You're right that the lab is built. Constructed was completed in the last 48 hours. Construction crew has been amnesticized and dismissed, but the work hasn't begun yet. That's what today's about." Hughes says, ... That's where my people are. That's why they were there an hour early. Were they an hour early? For, like, what was the other crew? I don't think the other crew... Oh, I forgot to frickin'... Oh, darn. Okay, we're just gonna run... Okay. That's where my people are. That's where your people are, Lee says. They're in the bunker waiting. We have your cover story prepped. We're faking your death. It's time. You're going under now. Now? No. I doubt that. Your team volunteered. I took care of them myself. They're good people, Lee says. Like hell, he says. Did I volunteer for this? Wheeler says, Bart. Hughes says, any prior version of me who agreed to this was a goddamn moron. Dude, we need you to do this. And I disavow his opinions. This is a prison sentence. I don't want to spend 20 years not able to see the sun. I don't want to be buried alive in work. I have ... He trails off and stares through the table, eyes defocused. He was about to say, I have family. But he doesn't. They're still his sister. She's Foundation like him. But he can't talk to her and she can't talk to him. They've tried. What does that mean? And I guess that's the reference earlier where they was like, we tried to get his sister to talk to him, but I guess, okay. Oof, yeah. I love this name. Welcome in. Thank you very much for the follow. The shrimp frying rice. You're telling me a shrimp fried this rice? Welcome in. Thank you very much. I'm very much entertained by your name. Sorry, my brain. We have a new tradition from not terribly long ago where we drop an emote every time that we've got a new follow. It's usually frog themed, but not always. You say hello. I'm glad you've got the shrimp vet here to do the shrimpy. Welcome in. Get comfy. We're reading partway through a whole saga, so forgive me. You missed out on the summary. You can rewatch the VOD to get the summary and catch back up, but I don't have it in me. Okay, we're in the middle of this. Okay, so he was like, I have a family. No, I don't. Oh, wait a minute. In his head. He tries another tack. This... has a low probability of success. The time frames are bad. It's 2008. SCP-3125 will be here by the end of the 2010s. And it's interrupted. It has an excellent probability of success, Graves says. Define excellent, Hughes says. Better than 50%, if it's you. Graves produces a thick report which presumably backs him up. Hughes peers at the document. He can see his own name on the cover. God damn it. 50% is good. If he were anybody else in this room, he'd seize the chance with both hands. Graves goes on, you convinced us that this had to be done, and that you had to be at the center. You were prepared to make the sacrifice. I think I'm on his side where, no, he didn't. But I don't know. He opens the document to a page in the back. The eyeball of his germ roves the page rapidly and finds the passage he wants. Allow me to quote your own words to you. SCP-3125 represents an omniversal scale threat. It threatens neighboring realities to ours. It threatens microverses within our macroverse. It threatens universes which embed ours as fiction. Ooh. That says that it threatens us, guys. Oh my gosh. That last sentence, it threatens universes which embed ours as fiction, means that this threatens you and me, who'll be reading this. Oh my gosh. We're in danger. But then they interrupt again. Go ahead and think of it as a prison sentence, if it helps. 058 interrupts. Rescind your consent if you'd like, but the next place you're going after this is the bunker. Ooh. I don't give a fuck what you think. I'm in charge here and you're getting in that fucking box, is what that guy says. Oh my gosh. Okay. What's the cover story? Hughes asks. How are you planning to do it? Oh no, wait, I skipped over. Hughes glances around the room's walls again. He makes it too obvious what he's thinking. The door's locked, Dr. Hughes, 0508 says. You're not exiting until we're through here. Yeah, 05 is like, too fucking bad, bud. And then, what's the cover story? How are you planning to do it? Is it okay if I recommend a story after this one? It's about the lifted veil scenario. Ooh, you can absolutely recommend it, but we are reading through a saga, so I have all of them stacked up for tonight's stream, for tomorrow's stream, and then maybe the one after that we have something. I would happily take your recommendation. We have a list in the Discord where it goes for sure, but it wouldn't be for right now. We wouldn't be able to pull it off tonight. You lurk away, Cage, silly little dude. Stay hidden. Enjoy your time, dang it. Yes. Someone drop the Discord and recommend this story sharing channel. Okay, here we go. Where was? How are you going to do this? A helium gas leak in S167B03312, Graves explains. The leak will be real. There's a forged body in there already, impossible to distinguish from a real one. We've tampered with your public schedule for the day. It puts you in that room, not this one. As for, and then a dash, he's stalling, 058 says to Graves and the others. He doesn't need to know any of this. You're really calling them out. 058 is really just not having it. Name somebody else, Lee suggests. Being serious, who in the world other than you stands a credible chance of solving this problem? Who could we send instead? Hughes says nothing. There's nobody, really nobody in the world, and he can do it. Lee presses. Is there anybody else, even if they didn't want to, who has the skills we need, who isn't already in the vault? The world shifts positions a little. Lee's standing now. Wheeler looks around alertly, gripping the arm of her chair. She has a fountain pen in her fist. It's uncapped. It's like she just remembered something. 058 glances at Wheeler, puzzled at her reaction to apparently nothing. Hughes doesn't notice anything. It's just me, Hughes says. So something happened. Something happened. I don't know, was it? Okay. It's just me, Hughes says. It's just you, Lee says. That's good enough for me. Hold on a second, Wheeler says. Lee pulls a gun out of nowhere. Oh. Sorry. I'm scared. Okay. And I'm gonna have to, as soon as there's another break in the story, I'm gonna have to run an ad because there's no way I'm gonna get through all of the story. And I'm very sorry to do that. But I'll finish this and then we'll do it. It's very quick here. I'm like, oh my gosh, what? Oh my gosh. Okay. Hold on a second, Wheeler says. Lee pulls out a gun out of nowhere, Hughes's germs' enormous pupils shrink to violet pinpricks. This is no part of any plan. Everybody in the room knows it, including Lee. Like, what the heck? It's a real gun. And does that mean that Wheeler noticed it? Or what happened? What did Wheeler remember? Is this SCP-3125? What the hell happened? Okay. It's a real gun. It's impossible that he could have it. Wheeler starts to rise out of her chair. Her own sidearm is locked in a box outside. Lee aims at Bart Hughes's chest and fires twice. The first round pierces him in the lung. The second round, fired as Hughes collapses, nicks his laptop screen, which is bulletproof, and ricochets up into the meeting room wall. And then the story breaks a star, and it'll pick back up in a bit. But like I said, I have to run an ad. Oh my gosh. Okay, here's the ad. I apologize, but here we go. What the hell is happening? I'm scared. Kia, Dew, is one of you that knows these stories still here? Can someone help? I'm scared. Okay. Alright. This is actively concerning, and I don't know what to do. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. Oh my goodness. Ooh, Twicey. I have to say hi in a minute. I'd be running. Mosquito bite itchy. Mosquito bite itchy. It's so rude. And now it's bleeding. Oops. I'm fine. It's okay. Okay. 3, 1, and 0. Hello. Welcome back from that ad. Okay. Hi, Twicey. Thank you for the follow. We have a new we have a new tradition where we drop a little dance emote whenever someone joins us. So everybody, if you're here and you're hearing this, drop a little dance emote. Welcome in. Welcome. And may I also say, we are at 969 followers. Nice. It's been a while since I did a 69 follower noise comment. That was happening at our, not too long ago, but yeah. So, let me say, posted it in the right channel, you think. Well, I will find it. The shrimp frying rice. I will find your recommendation. It'll be good. But yeah, thank you, Twicey. Welcome in. Thank you for the follow. Okay, so here we are. Story picks back up. Tense as hell. Here we go. Lee turns, now aiming at 058. He gets 2 more rounds off, each causing an ear-splitting electronic shriek and a flash of luminous green light. Why is it green? As 058's protective ward absorbs the energy. Oh, okay. Wheeler lunges at Lee from behind his gun arm, deflecting it upwards with one hand while plunging the fountain pen into his throat with the other. Ooh. Lee struggles. Wheeler pulls hard, opening his throat all the way up. Oh. Lee's fingers loosen and she spirits the gun away. Lee gurgles in agony and stumbles backwards, clutching futilely, at his wound. He smashes his head, the germ he's wearing on his head, against a glass meeting room door and slides down it into a spreading red lake. He's neutralized. There are 2 seconds in which nothing happens. 058's eyes meet Wheeler's. Your thoughts? He asks urgently. Michael Lee was compromised. I don't know how, Wheeler says. She makes the gun safe, holsters it, and vaults over the table to check on Hughes. He's dead, she finds. Graves is dead too. No! Hughes is not. No. We couldn't rush him to surgery for the lung. No. When in the hell did Graves get hit? Yeah. What just happened in this room? This whole site could be compromised from top to bottom. And then she said this whole site could be compromised from top to bottom. She interrupted. I have follow-up questions, 058 begins. A bolt of lethally intense heat and light interrupts him, scorching the wall behind his head. He ducks. Wheeler turns to track the source, aiming the gun with bloody hands. Something is lasering its way in through the containment unit airlock. That's a bad idea. That's a problem. Nothing is safe. Nothing is safe anymore. My personal security. Through the airlock, its powerful laser wielded with robotic precision. It's happening almost too fast to see. Thank you for the panic. I'm feeling the panic. My personal security, 058 says. It heard the shots. Call it off, Wheeler says. If this unit is breached, SCP-3125 is coming for all of us. The unit's hermetically sealed. I can't send any kind of signal until the doors open. That's a problem. And then interrupt. The airlock splits and is torn away in segments. An enormous gloss-black armored mechanoid looms in the gap, crouched to peer into the room. It looks exactly as if 058's limousine got up and started walking. Ah, okay. That's what Hughes saw. It's still impossible to guess whether there could be a human pilot inside it. Behind it, in the distance, Bachner is immobilized. Why? Sealed to one of the staging area chairs with a sizable glob of transparent orange glue. She screams, help. For Wheeler, it feels as if a black wave rolls over her, pouring into the containment unit from outside. She drops the gun and raises her hands. Being found holding the smoking gun isn't likely to be a good look, and she doesn't know for sure what heuristics, human or electronic or otherwise, control the mechanoid. It could be prone to making bad decisions. Stand down, 058 says to his bodyguard. It stops moving, but its single laser doesn't, flicking as fast as the human eye can follow between 4 motionless targets. Wheeler, Hughes, Graves, and Lee. It's waiting for movement. Lee, not completely dead, twitches. The laser pulses once in retaliation, atomizing his head and germ. The laser settles down to a shorter pattern, looping between the 3 remaining targets. Wheeler doesn't move a millimeter. I said, stand down. This time it seems to hear him. The laser clicks off and settles into a neutral position. Wheeler relaxes. Lee was compromised, she says again. She hurries to the back of the room, where a medical kit is mounted on the wall. We need to get you out of here, then we need to sterilize the site. Compromised when? 058 asks. By whom? I was given to understand. Don't say it out loud, my guy. Oh my gosh, don't even think about it. Oh my god. I was given to understand that SCP-3125 rendered its victims wholly bodily subordinate to it, biologically incapable of doing anything but propagate its core concepts, but Lee was still high-functioning. We've miscalculated something, Wheeler says. She throws most of the kit aside, keeping only a strangely shaped capsule with a thin nozzle and a pink fluid inside. And the gun? We were all searched on entry. I don't know. Wheeler can think of several ways to get the gun into the room undetected. It could have been planted in the restroom by Lee on a prior visit. Bachner could be complicit, perhaps others. She thinks there's an extremely strong chance that the 3 members of Hughes' team have been murdered too. It's all academic now. She applies the capsule to her right wrist and infuses the first half of the dose. It's fast-acting chemical amnestic. She hopes that splitting 1 dose between the 2 of them will be enough. Isn't this the part where SCP-3125 makes an appearance? 058 suggests. I certainly feel... ... Something. It's in my head, my germ, I should say. Me too. Roll up your sleeve. You also need to deactivate your shield for a second. He obliges, and Wheeler gives him the rest of the drug. Wheeler sorely wishes the shields were standard issue, but they are exceptionally hard to come by, and there are serious controversies and side effects associated with them. Would have been good to have on our man Hughes, though. Outside, Bachner has been gurgling and starting to speak in tongues. Now she screams again. When Wheeler looks, something long and dark, sharp as a javelin, and bifurcating into filaments descends from somewhere in the ceiling of the warehouse. It curls around the chair Bachner is glued to and lifts her up into the air. Oh no. A second thin feeler makes an appearance. It probes Bachner's glue-covered midsection curiously, and then pushes itself through her like a pin through paper. She wails, liters of blood gushing out and splashing to the floor below her. The feeler withdraws, then makes a second hole beside the first and continues in that fashion. More spider legs impale 058's mechanoid bodyguard and pull it away from the airlock, rapidly dissecting it into sparking pieces. The laser flashes wildly as the machine dies. It's no use. Hi, Dark Storm. Welcome in. This is very tense, so I'm going to focus. In the distance, a site-wide containment alarm starts up. It's a memetic threat, 058 says mostly to himself. Where do the arachnoforms come in? Do you have alternate transportation? Wheeler asks. S167B02-101, there's an escape pod, 058 says. As he says it, Wheeler writes it down on her hand with her bloodied fountain pen. Underground? You sure? Is there a code for the door? 058 lists 5 digits. He clutches his head. His germ is twitching unhappily and changing color and texture as if an infection is spreading across its pale blue skin. I can feel it. It's like steel jaws. This is most unpleasant. We need to get to the escape pod, Wheeler says. There's nothing else that matters. We don't need to remember why. Got it? Spider legs reach into the airlock and begin tearing the room to pieces. They're fast-moving and grabby and angry. They know there's something important inside, but they can't get to it. The skull bone is too strong to be broken apart. 058 doesn't have much field experience. The amnestic is blurring his thoughts. I'm deferring to you, he says dozily. Escape pod, lead on. Wheeler takes his hand. She's got Lee's gun in the other. A decent amount of ammunition left. With me, she says. She's done this before. She doesn't know it. The warehouse ceiling starts to cave in, and it breaks, and it picks back up. But what is it? Where is it? What does SCP-3125 look like? Its motivation, its origins, its modus operandi, how much of that can be known? Does it have to be known to solve the problem? Does it matter how intelligent the intelligence is once it's inside the box, once it's checkmated? And what actinic, mind-wrenching form could the countermean take? How could human hands assemble something so devastatingly powerful and hold it steady? What human mind could wield it without exploding from the inside out? What would deploying that concept in anger do to the human ideatic space? How far out from the solution is modern memetic science? A year? A century? What insane possibility has Hughes just committed himself to? Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean? This is from Hughes' point of view. Oh my gosh. Is he alive? How's this happening? Oh my god. He doesn't know anything. He knows Site-167 is coming apart and something violent and psychotic is flooding its corridors and its people. A living, roving swarm which makes every human into the worst possible thing a human can be. A thing which stands wrong, which looks wrong, colorless and furious. He races down the corridors and then down ventilation shafts which will take him deeper. He's small and he has quick, slippery locomotion. He can make it. He can lock himself in. He doesn't know what a germ needs to survive. All he's seen is the cages. He doesn't know Bachner's care routine. Does it live in water? In C. gigantis blood plasma? Is it fed a formula? He needs to reverse engineer his own biology before he starves. He doesn't know the model of his mind. It hurts to think, but he can think. Oh! Hughes is surviving inside the germ? Oh, that is weird and cool. What? What? And that's the end of that section of the story. The next one is Blood Brain, and oh my gosh, I don't know what's happening, and I'm excited. What? Ha ha ha. What? I think he release his germ. Because his body got injured, his lung got hurt, but he's still moving. But it says he's slippery, and he doesn't know how. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. But Flask is fucked up. Oh my gosh. But with that, we need to go back to triggers. It's triggers time. And I should run through it super fast so that I can go and I can read Blood Brain. Because I think we're going to run overtime on this one too. And I'm a little pouty about it. I'm here too long. I had other things I needs to be doing. But I can't freaking miss out on these freaking stories. How can I walk away from this? How? Okay. So the first one we have Mike Springs. We're going to do a rage puffing. I might have to refund one of the rage puffing. I don't think I'm going to get back to that. And the other stuff. So which one of you needs the points more? Rena or the hunk? Only one of you will get your rage puffing, I think, just for the time. Because I'm not going to do a second one. I'm not going to do another break. But okay, Mike Springs, Singing Bowl, Card Dealing, and Whispers. Let's hit up the Whispers. Okay. Actually, no, I need to be in a soft voice. I'm still pumped. We should do card dealing. Let's go with card dealing. Give me points? Okay, then I will give those back to you. And you can redeem that rage puffing in the next one, okay? Card. I'm gonna move. Gonna move the mic, so it might be mean. Let's do this. Actually, let's do this first. Okay. And then... Alright, moving the mic. Oh no, what have I done? Did that pop? I'm sorry. I'll mute for the rest of this move. I'm terrible freaking streamer. I've hurt you. I'm mean. I blame my mic and how aggressive that story is. It has me very worried. Okay. I'm sorry. Pop. It's very bad, Raven. You did bad. Someone bonk me. Please. I deserve it. Okay. Here we go. Okay, I'm gonna mute gonna move the mic a little bit more and we're gonna do mic springs. But I will mute. Okay, it probably would have been safe, but I was just gonna be for sure. Okay, mic springs. Alright, now I'm gonna move the mic back and we're gonna do the rest. Okay, here we go. I'll mute it first. I no longer have any trust for this mic. It has hurt you too much. Okay, so I did card dealing and I did mic spring reverbs. Now we do whispers. Let's do whispers. Soft kitty, warm kitty, little ball of fur. Happy kitty, sleepy kitty, purr, purr, purr. Soft kitty, warm kitty, little ball of fur. Happy kitty, sleepy kitty, purr, purr, purr. There you go. And now we're gonna do rage puffing. Oh no, we'll do singing bowl and then rage puffing. There we go. Singing bowl time. We did the singing frog, now we do the singing bowl. Hello, Uncaged Crow. Welcome back in. Here we go with the singing bowl. That was our singing bowl. It's fun to feel that vibration in my hand. It's cool. Okay. It's rage puffing time. So here we go. And Jamaican uncle, I would imagine that that was retaliation. But anyway, okay. Rage puffin. Oh, nope. How many times can Raven misspell the one thing? Okay, here we go. I rage. It's fun to make it. Like, it doesn't have wide open eyes and pout. It's like open eyes automatically means smile on my model, and it's so silly. Here we go. That's probably the best I could do. Okay, anyway. Here we go. Well, I didn't. You can't. You can't. I didn't. I ended with that, like, a little snooty instead of my usual. So that was different. That was silly. Okay. I'm super eager to read the last of this story still. Is anybody else as, like, how's this gonna end? I'm so nervous. After this story, there's another two more. So we're not gonna be able to know, really. Okay, so it's blood brain, as far as I know. Blood/brain. I'm so nervous. I don't even know who this is. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I'm invested. Yes, same, but oh my gosh. Okay. Let's settle in. Let's get a little readjust. Make sure the posture isn't bad. There's no shrimping allowed here. Oh, sorry, a little bit cracklies. Come on, Mike. Come on. I'd like to be able to hear out of both ears. Thank you. Yes, please. No. Maybe. Haha. Okay. Blood brain. There is no day/night cycle. Something like a week into his trek, Wheeler, realizes that he can perform an experiment. He selects a building with a high ceiling to sleep in, a library. Before turning in, he sets up a Foucault pendulum. He suspends a heavy rock by wire from the ceiling and sets it swinging. The following morning, the slow pendulum is still swinging, and it has persisted. It's swinging at about a right angle from the mark he made before he went to sleep. That means the world is still spinning. Okay. Hello, Traven. Welcome in. On reflection, he doesn't know if it proves anything. It's not clear whether the sun or moon still exist or any celestial object at all other than the red black eye socket in the horizon. Because, yeah, last time we were with his side of stories, we were like unclear. Is that the sun? What's happening? But yeah, okay, so that's what he did. The eye never moves. It casts long, threatening shadows while being bright enough to blind Wheeler whenever he has to walk in that approximate direction. Sorry. Which is approximately half the time. Regardless of the physical evidence, it doesn't feel as if he's walking on a real earth or fully awake. He feels like an ant, crawling across the face of a rough-hewn monolith, crawling into and out of the runes chiseled into the face of that monolith. Runes which form an unstoppable, apocalyptic mythology. He has migraines, and there are blotchy, multicolored zigzags in his vision by the end of most quote-unquote days. He feels as if the whole world is perpetually dropping away from beneath his feet, like he and it are both plummeting into an abyss. He has not been caught yet. The violent phenomena Ulrich warned him about have not appeared, which makes him feel increasingly lucky and nervous. He carries a looted gun, which he's practiced with a little. He's a better shot than he would have guessed, using his right hand alone. His left hand, the mangled one, does nothing but shake. Oh, sorry, bud. He has to keep it clutched to his chest when shooting. The gun gives him less reassurance than he'd like. It feels as if, were he to end up in a situation, it could metamorphose suddenly from a working firearm into a fiddly, metallic liability, an explosive distraction in his pocket, which, to be fair, that is guts. On occasion, on the horizon, he sees a skyscraper-sized figure stalking past. He holds still or hides, and it doesn't see him. Other than that, the world is seemingly deserted, standing empty, like an overturned car in a muddy ditch. Open doors, lights still blinking. Wheeler feels detached, lucky, guilty. He keeps away from cities. He has not yet come within eye-shot of a sarcophagus. Ulrich was evasive in describing them, and advised him in the strongest possible terms to stay away from them. But on another quote-unquote night, he selects a bad place to camp, where the wind and the local geography funnel the noise from one of the sarcophagi up to him from the valley. The noise, despite its faintness and distance, cultivates such intense and intolerable nightmares that he has to get up, pack up again, and walk further away, as many more miles as it takes. The noise creates, in him, things which he dearly wants not to be flashbacks. He goes into a shop, and along with packaged food and bottled water, steals a cheap digital wristwatch. I have to say, I don't think that at this point it's stealing anymore. Everything is an apocalypse. I wouldn't call it stealing anymore, my guy. Oh, thanks, Josh. We just did the posture checks, though. So I feel like I should refund those to you, but I did a hydrate. I'll give you that. Now say refund, stretch, and posture, but I did the hydrate. There you go. Thank you, though. Okay. The wristwatch we're referencing, it has a date function. I don't know how accurate it is, my guy, but okay. Today is Monday, the 17th of April. It's just gone lunchtime. Time is still passing on some level. All of this is factual. It's happening. And if it's really happening, then what? Sorry, there was a little break, a star, and it picks up, but that feels directly. Anyway. If it's really happening, then what? There is no longer any ambiguity about what specifically is happening, not in Wheeler's mind or in anyone else's. The world has since passed through SCP-3125's antimemetic boundary layer and into its radioactive core. There is no longer a need for SCP-3125 to pretend that it is not what it plainly is. What else could it be? What difference could it make now? What could oppose it? It stands there in plain sight. Wheeler sees it. All of conscious reality sees it. It's happening everywhere to everyone. It's not physically possible to conceive of anything else. There is no worst-case scenario than what's happening now. There's no race against time. There's no ticking clock. There's no last second. The last second was years ago. There's nothing to avert. This is it. The final game position, the highest and most refined form of human civilization. This is the shape of the next 1,000,000 years. SCP-3125 stands there, monstrous, casual, and indifferent. And Wheeler is alone with his thoughts for a long period of time and has little else to think about. And he wrinkles his brow, and he blinks a long blink and looks again, and he realizes what it was that he wasn't seeing. SCP-3125 is standing there, like a human stands. It breaks, a star picks back up. He reaches Site 41 at the beginning of May. It was April, remember? His body clock has wandered far out of skew by this point. It's technically around midnight when he first lays eyes on the place. There is a protective field surrounding it, stamped into reality by the detonation of the antimemetic warhead. Ooh, so that did go off. Radiating out a few hundred meters beyond the site's perimeter. It's a psychological repulsion, not a physical one. A thick bulwark of irrelevance. There's nothing here, just keep walking. Despite being warned about it, Wheeler succumbs to the effect. 30 minutes walk down the road, he double-checks his map and realizes what's happened and turns back. This happens a second time. On the third attempt, he makes it through. Dead reckoning and willpower. That is a possibility, Huntsman of Atlas. We'll add it to the story sharing. It's easier if you put it in the Discord usually, so then I also remember who recommended it. If you'd like to be called out, get the little shout out on YouTube or something. But, yeah. Thank you. Well, I'll check it. I'm very much invested in this one right now, though. For some reason, he had been imagining an ancient, dramatically overgrown ruin, but the containment breach, which led to the site's destruction, only happened only 18 months ago, and the bomb blast, which concluded the outbreak, was figurative, not physical. About a third of Site 41's main building has been torn down, but the rest is perfectly intact and unmarred. Mother Nature has not reclaimed it. Gnarled trees are not sprouting from the damaged site. Wheeler exhales. There is a still, safe atmosphere about the place. It's as if Site 41 has its own cool microclimate. It's easier to think. Even the light here is fractionally yellower, more natural. The site's main entrance is sealed with steel doors, but Wheeler circles around to the damaged side of the building and is able to effect entry over the rubble. He moves at a medium, slow pace. He can't afford to blunder into anything, but if he goes too slowly, he knows he'll overthink the situation and become scared, and have to retreat all the way out of the building. The late Daisy Ulrich promised him that the site was safe. She then went to rather disconcerting lengths to explain precisely what, quote-unquote, safe meant. No entities capable of spontaneously, actively harming a person. No entities in need of active, dynamic containment procedures. A safe SCP can be left in a dark, locked room indefinitely with no risk, she explained. A nuclear bomb is safe, she said, giving the canonical example. Well, he replied, up to a point. The site is safe, he tells himself. Safe, capital S. Tells himself, creeping forward. The most dangerous things he's going to find are rats, and he jumps back, aiming his flashlight at a frightening shape. Corpses. The corpse is seated against a corridor wall. It's clutching a combat knife, which it seems to have buried up to the hilt in its own inner thigh, opening a gushing artery. Wheeler backs up against a wall. unable to look closely at the body, but equally unable to let it out of its eyesight in case it ... does something. He feels faint. It doesn't help that at exactly that moment the fluorescent lights in the corridor come up, triggered by his movement, giving him a much better look at the scene. The scene is about as bloody as any suicide can be. "No, thank you," he says. He backs up. He backs all the way up the corridor and through the ruin to the virulent red place which passes for daylight, and there he throws up. The story breaks. It's a star, and it picks back up. It takes a long time to talk himself back into it. He finds many more bodies. Some of them are in groups, having died during violent altercations or during more complex scenes which Wheeler cannot fully parse. Some of them are dismembered or just scattered pieces. Some of them appear to have been dead for significantly longer than the rest. They are little more than wafer-thin skin wrapped around skeletons, and there are strange things written on the walls beside them. Wheeler never works out why. Oh, that's not good. That's all we have for that. Sounds like he's not gonna make it. Oh, I don't like that. Please let him make it, please. There's still power. There's running water. At first, nearly every door he meets is locked, but he steels his nerves and returns to each of the dead Foundationers in turn and retrieves their keys and security passes. Soon he has the run of the place, with only a few highly secure control rooms and containment units denied to him. At this point, his task has become open-ended. If Hughes is not somewhere on Site-41, which he almost certainly isn't, Wheeler needs to find information leading to his true location. He needs data. He collects devices, phones and laptops and computer terminals. Foundation built with chunky form factors. Most of them need passwords or pins, which he can't get, but a few can be unlocked using security passes or biometrics, which he can get if he carries the device back to the relevant corpse and presents their face or finger to the scanner. The devices still have power, too. Wheeler is unable to find anything resembling a battery readout on any of them. Okay. He is slowly learning a key lesson. The Foundation builds things to endure. And though the Foundation as a group of people is absent, the physical systems they built are still here and functioning and ready. Good. That's helpful. The SCP database is the most obvious icon on every device's home screen. Ulrich told him to look out for a particular sigil, concentric circles with 3 inward-pointing arrows. Inevitably, like an uncounted number of newcomer Foundations before him, Wheeler loses a significant number of hours browsing in the entries. The Foundation has a specific and recognizable house style, which is to describe even the most mind-bogglingly weird anomalies in absolutely mundane factual terms. Even heavily redacted, different users see different amounts of redaction, but there is plenty of data which he can't access no matter whose identity he uses. It makes for bizarrely compelling reading. Good little egg to tuck into this story. Hughes is mentioned numerous times in the database. He seems to have multiple overlapping research specialties, and is credited in many entries as a containment architect. Wheeler takes detailed notes, assembling a picture of the man's career progression, and then randomly stumbles into the Foundation's own personnel records for Hughes, which line up almost exactly with what he just worked out. There are huge holes in the personnel record. The last entry relating to Hughes' actual activities is in 2007, and then in 2010, after a gap of years, there's a final note, a single, unauthored sentence. It appears that those who know Hughes' fate meet it. End of file. Those who know he turned into a germ are going to turn into a germ? I'm sure they mean will die, because of 3125, but people don't know he's a germ. We do. Okay. Wheeler frowns at the unhelpful note for a long minute. It reads like a riddle. Wheeler was, for a long time, a crossword puzzle fiend, but it seems improbable to him that a clandestine organization like the Foundation would leave cryptic clues for one another rather than clear, direct instructions. Oh, but buddy, sometimes they do. Which means the note is probably intended to be read simply and literally. Don't look for Hughes unless you want to meet the same fate. Yeah, pretty much what they mean this time. Wheeler tilts his chair back and stares at the ceiling, contemplatively. There you go. On the other hand, the note also means Hughes can be found. It's been done before. And the story breaks, and a star, and it picks up. There's no day/night cycle, but he's worn out. His body is telling him that he needs to sleep. He sleeps on a sofa in an employee break room on the far side of the building from the Red Eye. There's a snack machine, and there are snacks in the machine, but he doesn't have any cash. He considers breaking the glass, but if he screws up and cuts himself badly, there isn't a single doctor left in the whole world who could stitch him up. He considers, and rules out looting the nearest corpse for $1. So he considers, but says no to picking pockets, dead pockets. As he tries to sleep, something comes to him, an acute, anxious energy. It grips him by the shoulder. Get up, it screams at him, distantly. You cannot rest. Do the arithmetic. It's all still happening. Move. He rolls over and ignores it. And it bothers him, intellectually, that he can't ignore it. He wonders if there is some vital organ missing from his body. He should be quivering with anger and terror right now, yes? Why, in his heart, is he so calm? He looks at SCP-3125, whose very existence on paper should paralyze him with fear. He looks at what SCP-3125 is doing, which should fill every fiber of his being with furious purpose, and he looks down at his own significance to the whole endeavor, and his own guesstimate of the odds. He does the arithmetic, and the product of all those factors rounds down to damn near 0. This isn't going to work. That's why. This has to stop. It has to end, please. It is in italics like that get up thing. Curled up in his sleeping bag, his eyes screwed shut, Adam Wheeler mutters to whatever may be listening. It isn't going to work. And the story breaks, and it's a star, and it's back up with. Near the site entrance, he can't figure out how to unlock the steel doors, even from this side. He finds a security office, with printed floor plans of the whole site. He crosses off the room he's visited, and the rooms which are destroyed. Everything remaining is locked, above ground anyway. Underground, there are warrens of tunnels, and dozens more containment units, and 30 floors below ground, a single, incredibly large vault of unstated purpose. This final vault draws his attention in magnetically. Ulrich assured him that the site was totally safe. As the freight elevator descends, Wheeler finds that a kind of anxious pressure is building above him. The air is rapidly getting warmer, and he's just realized that if the elevator breaks down right now, he'll likely be helplessly trapped and die. He shouldn't have used it. He should have used the emergency stairs. Too late. The elevator lands. There's an empty corridor. He follows it drawn forward. There's an airlock at the far end, a wall of white metal big enough to drive a truck through. The airlock is closed, but there are 7 or 8 overlapping circular holes punched through it, making a combined gap which is easily big enough to admit a human. Beyond the airlock there is a vast, dark space. Wheeler has climbed through the hole and walked 5 paces into the darkness before he even thinks about what he's doing. There are shapes out there, illuminated by the scant light falling from the airlock corridor, lumps which could be more dead people. Wheeler's own shadow blocks much of the light. He takes out his torch. Flashlight. It is absolutely silent down here, and the temperature is uncomfortable, making him sweat. The rest of the huge vault, as far as he can shine his light, is totally empty. But his torch is not powerful enough to illuminate a space this big, so it's hard to be certain. Oh no, you're gonna make me sad. Okay, so this is in reference to the one folder we looked at. Oh my gosh. The 3125 SCP entry. I think we're finally here. He advances. A loud tone is building in his ears as he gets closer. There are ... he counts ... 14 dead. 13 of them dead in a rough circle around a 14th. A woman lying flat on her back just outside of the circle. There is a military truck with the inert remains of a complex machine mounted on its back. This, Wheeler surmises, is the antimemetic warhead. There is a cable leading down to a control unit lying on the floor, under the hand of the dead woman. Ah, he says with a note of regret. So you're the one. Her security pass looks different from the others. It has a bright diagonal stripe across it, in red and orange. He takes it. There's a roaring in his skull. He can't see it clearly at first. Something is disturbing his vision. A gold-white spot in the corner of his eye, an artifact from the combination of extreme darkness and bright torchlight. He squints. It says, Marion Wheeler, Site Director. He stares at it for a long time, weirdly disoriented. He doesn't exactly know why. It is, of course, a very commonplace name. If he stopped to gap at every other Wheeler he met, he would never get anything done. Still, she's the one with her hand on the switch. She's the one who ended this local outbreak. Out of every dead Foundationer on this damn site, she's the one who didn't die for no reason at all. He feels as if he should say a few words, but they do not come to him. He makes one quick circuit around the vault perimeter, scanning the floor and wall, looking for anything interesting, and finding nothing but construction tools and scaffolding. He returns to the airlock and then the freight elevator. He glares at it for a long, frustrated moment, and then accepts that it would be unsafe to use it again. Yeah, you should do stairs. The emergency stairwell is perfectly well lit, but 30 floors is a mountain. 3 times on the way up, he has to stop to rest his knees. Yeah. It breaks, there's a star, and it picks up with. The site director's pass gets him everything. Every control room, every containment unit, every file. He gets the whole story. He puts the last piece in place. He leaves a note following the same hopeless, diligent ritual as the rest of the Antimemetics Division before him. He emerges from SCP-3125's inverted containment unit, in quotes there, with extremely clear written instructions from himself to himself. He knows exactly where he needs to go. And I'm guessing, that moment is when he leaves that note, I found your body thing. Ugh. As he moves down the forest road away from the site, he reaches and crosses the edge of the antimemetic crater. He squares his shoulders, re-entering the presence of SCP-3125. His inner ear starts free-falling again. Where were you just now? Someone calls out to him. He stops walking. He squints into the intense light ahead of him, shielding his eyes. He can just about make a figure standing there. The trees on each side of them rustle and move. They're too tall, spider scrapers. A wave of dread hits Wheeler, followed closely by one of perverse relief. This is it. Yeah, we're finishing this story, but there's still 2 more entries. One of them is apparently an epilogue, from what I was clicking. So this is not the end of the thing, but we're nearly done this section of the story. This is it, and that's what he's thinking. I guess we're gonna die now, is I guess what he's thinking. Why can't I track you? The unidentified man says. His voice sounds faint. You're so weak. It's like you don't exist. I just waited 2 days trying to pick you up again. What's wrong with you? This has to be Red. Red is so classic. Jeering at you. Why does the meme have to be mean? Okay. Wheeler says nothing. The man is closer. He didn't walk, but the distance between them halves, and his voice is easier to hear, though he is still too bright to look at. His body structure blurs and flickers. You're not one of them, capital T, them, he says. And you're not one of us, capital U, us. And you're definitely not the hero, in italics. You don't count for shit memetically. Why are you wasting your time on this, whatever the fuck this is? You should just kill yourself. It's not going to work. Honestly, the fact that he's giving all this energy to tell him this kind of says that he probably is capable and absolutely does count for shit and is the hero. Just gonna say it. I think Adam's gonna do it. But Wheeler knows that, is what it says. The light collapses. The figure smashes into focus, becoming physical. It's a real human, a skinny 20-something, scruffy, uncut hair, and a sketchy beard. He is shirtless, and there is a deep black pit in his clavicle. Oof. A hole where he has clearly been very badly wounded. Yep. Blood has run down his chest, soaked his jeans and forearms, and dried back black. Fresh blood is still coming, building up in thick layers, which shouldn't be possible. Wheeler doesn't spot the second hole in his gut, obscured by too much blood. Wheeler is trying to keep his expression neutral, but he knows it isn't working. He can feel in his left hand, his bad hand, starting to shake. A part of him still wants to ask the guy why, but there is no possible answer. This is what the human race really is, the man explained, spreading his hands to gesture at the whole world. We lied to ourselves that we could be better for thousands of years, but this is it. This is what we've always been. We've never been anything else. That's, Wheeler begins, then stops, suddenly remembering something. He claps his left hand to his chest, draws with his right, and shoots. It's a good shot. It's a lucky shot. It takes the man directly in the eyeball and blows out the back of his skull. He falls, twisting as he falls, landing on his broken face. Hell yeah, dude! I don't think it's gonna do much, but nice. Okay. Wheeler gasps, remembering to breathe. He almost drops his gun. He gets a tighter grip on it, keeping it aimed at the blasted ruin of the man's head. He wants to throw up. He controls himself. In through the mouth, out through the nose. He's okay. Let him talk for too long, he says, apologetically. He pulls out a foundation brick phone from his pack. He pushes some buttons, entering coordinates, and then retreats far down the road. He retains visual contact with the dead man for as long as possible, then turns away and kneels, placing the phone on the road beside him, following the detailed instructions he found in the control room. He grinds his palms into his eyes and presses his face against the ground and says, Eloni Zenorai, fire. Same thing that our guy said before. Remember our task force dude that first met Red and thought that he was going to heal Red. Okay, the orbital laser strike comes diagonally. It lasts for a split second and is easily bright enough in the visible spectrum to have instantly blinded him if he were looking. When Wheeler returns to the scene, there's no body left, just a scorched ellipse of asphalt. He says to the scorch mark, I was going to say something along the lines of, that's a lie. That's what you are. You're the lie, but And if the bastard can regenerate from that, I'm done for, well and truly. He looks up. The atmosphere isn't changing. The sky isn't returning to blue. There's still that heinous pressure. SCP-3125 remains the dominant force in the universe. As he turns, hearing movement in the forest all around him, he realizes that the immense spider forms, he'd sincerely forgotten about them. They were standing so quietly, are dispersing. And then there's a weird giant block of white. And sometimes when the format has been weird, I like, you drag your mouse across to try and highlight it for maybe a copy paste. And when I do that, it's picking up on a giant block instead of just enter spaces. So they posted something clearly here. Oh, and that version of it. It looks like there's supposed to be a photo here. So maybe they inserted a white box, because they did do that with Adam's other story, but it was a black rectangle, because that's supposedly, how the SCP-3125s were getting in and stuff. So I think that this is just like the alternate to the black. It doesn't look like there's any text, but if anybody has been able to see more, let me know. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. It's confusing. But the next story, supposedly the last one is Tombstone, and then there's the supposedly an epilogue, Champions of Nothing. So that's just... I'm reeling. Oh my gosh. Okay. Alright. I'm still just like, what do I do with this? But okay, that's the end. And that's the end of my stream tonight. We're gonna wrap this the heck up. Fett, you got a raid suggestion? Thanks for the little pray. He did succeed. He got red. But as far as we know, didn't get anybody else. Atsuli, okay. Alright. Anybody else just need a minute though? Whew. Wait, was that the end? No. We've got one more she's on a BRB screen. Well, I said I needed a minute anyway. Oh my god. So there was one more like definite part of the story, and then there's another after that that's apparently the epilogue. So there's 2 more like entries on the story. There's still 2 more to read for tomorrow's nighttime stream. But yeah, okay. Come on, Adam. What's getting me is like, what does it mean? What does it mean if Adam wins? Is he the last person alive on Earth? Are there other people that were like him that maybe, are occupied by 3125, and if you get rid of 3125, then they're safe and you're free? Is there some version where it undoes to a certain point? Does he reconnect with anybody that's in heaven still alive? The new sphere, is there a way to get them in? Or is it really just him left on Earth in this? Because then at least it protects from 3125 going out to other places, like over to our world, like it suggested. But like, will the memes be dank with 3125 gone? You hope. But yeah, what does that mean for this if he wins? Like, I want him to win. But what would it mean for us? Okay, yes. Alright, she's back. Okay. Whew. I'm feeling all that. I'm feeling it all. Let's pop over to Atsuli. Oh, you've already got the raid messages, so let's go ahead and copy those raid messages. Do little copies. And let's prep to go over. If you've got your emotes, raid 1. If you've got no emotes, raid 2. But oh boy, I mean, right? It's just a lot. I'm so nervous. But okay, here we go. Thank you everybody. Anybody that's new, a special thank you, welcome. And everybody that's returning. Oh my gosh. Are you feeling it like me? But okay, I'll be back tomorrow and the next day doing the same story paired, so I'll see you tomorrow. But okay, here we go. Let's raid. Let's raid. Whew.